Let the chaos reign.
Chaos Reign, and this is titled Classics Hits. This is Dot Hack and Watch the Signs for Exploitation. A broadcast recorded January the 6th, 2017 on T.R.S. Talk World Solutions. Enjoy.
Blog Talk Radio. The views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at TalkRealSolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of TalkRealSolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not TalkRealSolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representation as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
Good evening. Tonight, this is going to be a very interesting show for people that never really look and dove into the world of what they call hacking. Tonight, I am the guest tonight, Gary, and I'm going to go into this very unusual world of cyber attacks, or, in general, how to protect yourself, but more fun, what is hacking, really? Because we always hear about hacking. Is it a negative thing or a good thing? Because in the world, when people are referred to as hacks, a lot of society look at it as demonized people that initiate or take part in the knowledge of hacking well-established systems in business or any other form of fun, people that are real knowledgeable of coding. But before we go into this, 1 second. If Tyrone Thompson is there, I would like him to, present, the thing that is well known that we start off before we start anything in TRS. Tyrone, are you there? Let me check. 1 second. All right, stay on line for a second. If Tyrone Thompson, if you get this message, please call in. You know how I like to start with, the thing that we are well known here on TRS, to black people, to black empowerment, black freedom. All right, well, as we wait, the call number for tonight is, hold on, 515-605-9783. 515-605-9783. This is the calling number for tonight's show. I will be taking questions, and after playing this clip that's going to run for an hour for people to get a good glimpse of it. Tyrone Thompson, you there?
Oh, yeah, I'm here, man. I'm sorry about that.
Yep. You know what the drill. 3-point plan.
Man, I done told you, man, ain't your damn secretary. Nah, I'll do it. All right, hold on for a minute, guys. Let me get this stuff right. All right, I got to have my little you did a disclaimer already, right?
Disclaimer played already. I was just talking briefly, and, before I start anything, you always start with, black empowerment, black freedom. Usually I probably know this by heart now, Tommy. Yeah, go ahead. Okay.
No, I'll do it. I got you. Ain't no problem. All right, I want to invite you to go to TalkRealSolutions.com. And on TalkRealSolutions.com, there you'll find the 3-point plan to black empowerment and financial freedom. The 3-point plan has 3 points. The first point is to get together with like-minded people. The second point is to stop all unnecessary spending and save your money. The third point is, as a unit, invest or save your money in a verified and trusted institution. A great goal will be for you to open a black-owned business. And right up under the 3-point plan, you have a link to African American-owned banks and African American-owned credit unions. We could all start moving our money to these institutions to start practicing group economics today. And while you're on the website, please browse the articles and links there. And I appreciate everyone for visiting the site. We're over 2 million views on the website as of yesterday. So I appreciate the traffic that is going on the website. Thank you very much. But just share the articles. Let me know what you think about the website. Give me some feedback and donate. Donate to Talk Real Solutions to help us keep the website up, to help us keep BTR going, and just to support this platform altogether. Because we try to go right down the middle here and give you the information that is needed in our community. Other than that, that's all I got, Mr. Gary.
All right, thank you. Okay, hold on a second. There, stop. Okay. One thing we're going to do, like anything, because people have not called in, I'm going to have, let me pause this. Okay. Tyron, you got the clip? Ready?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. What you're going to hear is a convention these well-established, I won't say geeks, but well-established coders have every year in regards to show their talents and what they have learned, and also, I would say, create other forms of ways of manipulating systems and how they could, mess up other people if they're not careful using what we call the internet. So what you're going to hear for the first hour, and it's only going to be an hour of play because the video is too long, you're going to hear what really goes into this thing they call DEF CON, a large invention where hackers compile every year, particularly in LA. So as Tyron plays the clip, listen good, and I'm going to go into briefly about it and then eventually take questions. You can play the clip now, Tyron.
What the fuck, dude?
The history. I had been running the dark tangent system. That was the name of my bulletin board system. The bulletin board was known around the world. We were an international FIDO network. And in one of those networks, called PlatinumNet out of Canada, was going away. He was shutting it down. I was the biggest node. I had the most users, and I distributed to the United States. And he wanted to throw a party, going away party, for all of his PlatinumNet users. But he didn't want to do it in Canada, and all of his users were in the States. And so we were talking. He says, well, you should do it. we should work together. And I said, great, let's do it in Vegas. And that makes the most sense, cheap airfare. And he said, sounds good. And I mean, this happened over the course of less than a week. It was really brief. And then all of a sudden, he disappeared, PlatinumNet went down, and all these years, 20 years later, I've never heard from the guy again. I can't even remember his name, it's been so long. So when that disappeared, I had already started planning to do this going away party for PlatinumNet. So instead, I invited all my networks, and it went from being a going away party to a party. There was a CohoCon, there was an XCon, there was a PumpCon, SummerCon, but there was no real West Coast con. So we figured, okay. So it ended up being DEF CON.
You know, the first one, there was a flyer that went out, and that kind of circulated around on some of the sites, and I think that's how I came across it initially.
I'm assuming it was because of a book I wrote or maybe my congressional testimony. I don't know. But somehow he had contacted me to come out and speak.
I actually didn't want to go to the first DEF CON. I did not want to go to the first DEF CON. A number of my friends were going. They were trying to get me to go. They kept telling me it was going to be fun, and I kept thinking to myself, I'd never been to Las Vegas before. And, you know, I used to go to BBS user meets, and, well, a lot of them were pretty lame. And I thought to myself, okay, this is just going to be a BBS user meet in Vegas.
Contacted me somehow, said, you want to come out to Vegas? I said, I don't like Vegas. Come out and speak, and there's a bunch of people, Phil Zimmerman and a couple of folks, and DEF CON 1.
And I had a blast. I had so much fun. It felt that we were part of something that was really kind of legitimized because there was this event around it. You know, it wasn't just, you know, random people that you might have known or heard, or it wasn't, you know, somebody on the, you know, in the phone freak world, it wasn't somebody on the end of a toll-free loop around that, you know, you called at midnight and, hey, who's there, you know. So I ended up meeting a lot of people, some of whom I'm still friends with to this day, out of all of that.
And I remember after the first DEF CON was over, and I was back home and I was decompressing, and somebody wrote me on UUCP in my email, wrote me an email, and said, hey, that was great. When are you doing it again? And until I had gotten that email, I'd never thought of doing it again. And then I thought, you know, I could probably make this better. I could change this. And then that started it. That was all game over from there. It was every year, what can I make better? What went wrong? How do I fix it? And that geek sort of fix-it mentality kicks in, and you're always trying to improve it. So it's sort of like this challenge you'll never solve, but you keep wanting to make it better.
If people missed a few years, the differences between their experiences is going to be pretty radically different. DEF CON 1 was around 100 people, and we expect roughly 15,000 for DEF CON 20.
We work nonstop. I haven't seen 4th of July in like 7 years.
It's crazy that DEF CON, as you can label it as a hobby, takes so much time because it seems like pretty much from the moment DEF CON ends until the time that we're spinning it up again, we're busy.
You know, technically I retired 2 years ago, but I can't give it up because it's such a part of me. I'm giving back to the same culture that spawned me.
DEF CON for the last 10 years especially has been a very big part of my life. It consumes most of my free time. DEF CON starts for me the day after DEF CON is over for the next year.
It's going to be amazing.
We have so many surprises planned for the attendees. It's going to be remarkable. This is going to be a really, really special year. If you're sleeping, you're doing it wrong.
A lot of people who are hardcore DEF CON attendees or staff, they negotiate when they change jobs. That's fine, everything's good, but I need to take, 2 weeks off. I'd never thought that my party would be a job employment prerequisite.
I am
not kidding. I am expecting another well-orchestrated, well-oiled machine coming together and producing this amazing gathering of geeks. No kidding. It's what we do. We come together and we do the hell out of it. And I expect it to happen this year.
There's absolutely a difference between driving and flying.
When Utah Group, for example, used to go down to DEF CON, years and years and years ago, there was a whole process where basically we gathered at this restaurant called D's, or like we called it Freaky D's, at like 2 a.m. And basically, 20, 30 of us pile into the restaurant, and we'd have our caravan of cars all set together, and that was our group of people.
There were some hijinks that I can't even imagine mentioning on a documentary that can happen on a long 9-hour drive from the Denver area to Las Vegas.
When you're driving, you have to get there, especially from the West Coast, you have to drive to the middle of fucking nowhere.
And it certainly adds to the experience when you roll in and it's just after sunrise or it's just about sunset, or you really have no idea what time it is, and there's Sin City, and of course you're playing Viva Las Vegas by the Dead Kennedys or something like that, and it does add to the experience, I think.
Actually, here comes the hack bus now. Pretty awesome. Yeah. It kind of blows my mind that everyone's so excited about going to a barbecue 6 miles away from the con that they have to rent a taxi for or go to the grocery store and get food for. I don't know, I just feel like the barbecue is this misfit love child of DEF CON, because everyone's like, hey, there's this thing that happens over there and they're grilling alligator and elk and all this crazy meat, and why can't we ever go? Where is it? And that kind of adds to the mystery and the fun of it. Man, did I never expect that to become something that's like 1,000 people strong now. To me, that shows like an awesome community spirit and effort of, hey, I want to see my friends and I want to hang out with them and I want to, just do something simple, like let's eat some food. It's not at the con. There's no crazy music. It's just a barbecue.
Ever since I was in town around DEF CON 10, 11, you see those signs in the airport, come shoot a machine gun, which, it's fine for me. I've done, but a lot of my friends said, man, I'd love to do that. Well, I said, let's just go out in the desert. I'm sure we can find a nice group rate, and we'll shoot out in the sand pit. And everyone had a blast. And they said, boy, are you going to do this? This was great. You're going to do this again? So now there's just this well-known public shooting spot way out on the Lovell Canyon Road outside of the city where anyone can go, anyone can shoot what they want as long as they police up the area, and we use it. And it's again, much like DEF CON itself. You keep getting popular and growing. Now we have canopies and tables rented that I arranged. There's a small per-head fee just to cover that. We had 100 people on the line last year. We've got damn near that many registered this year. We're going to stay safe and see what we can make happen.
Can everyone hear me over the reports over the burp? Yeah. All right. All firearms are always what? Loaded. They're always loaded. Nothing's ever an unloaded firearm. You always point the firearm where? Safe direction. In a safe direction. Target, what's that? Yes, the key point, not just being your target, but what is beyond it.
The hacker community, you can never put a single hat on anybody, but there's a libertarian undercurrent to a lot of our membership. So being able to just treat guns as, well, that's this piece of equipment. If you use it the right way, it's great. It percolates through most minds. So you get the occasional raised eyebrow, but half the time that's the person who's like, I'm going to go see exactly what you think is so fun. And they're out there shooting a cannon or an automatic rifle. And they say, boy, I get this.
Come on in.
I think this was the year when I was at the Aladdin, and we'd forgotten to sort of clean up our room, or we didn't think that the maid was going to show up as early as they did, and we'd gone off to breakfast, and we came back, and the maid had been in the room and cleaned the room and organized all of the drugs. So there's like a little pile of acid and a little pile of ecstasy and some other pills, and they're all nice, neat little piles. I was like, huh, well, I guess things are different in Las Vegas.
You've got to put the convention in a 24-hour city. It's got to be like a New York or a Vegas or maybe a San Francisco, because hackers get bored, and there's got to be something for them to do. And I saw what happened when there's a lot of bored hackers running around.
A lot of activities in the computer underground would happen after midnight. That's just the way it is. So, the fact that people can move around and not be noticed as much, being a group moving around at midnight, that kind of added to the appeal.
And I'm big on privacy. Nevada still respects people's personal privacy. Your hotel room is considered your domicile.
It sounded fun. Just a bunch of computer people, right? I mean, it just seemed like my group was in Vegas, and it sounded like a really, really fun time. So that the whole underworld connotation of it all was very attractive to me.
So I feel like there's going to be a streamline of people like really dedicated. Like we're going to be first line. We're going to be first line.
I want to make sure I get a badge. Like that was my biggest. This is my first DEF CON, and I want to make sure I walk away with a badge.
We're all DEF CON virgins. We got to pop that DEF CON cherry and sort of get those badges.
And how many hours do you have to go before you get your badge?
I think it's 9 hours now.
Right there. Well, nothing's really going on.
Okay, that's $20.
So, you got $20 plus $20 for you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Yes, we drink.
Good.
What are we drinking?
Stop recording, please.
We got pizza. Pizza is good. Yeah, it's good.
Alright.
Jet lag is sunk in.
Looks like he's using a pizza box for a pillow.
We will not abandon our posts.
This is my first DEF CON badge.
Now, what made you decide you were going to come to DEF CON?
My husband's work decided to send him, and I started going through all of the videos that they had for DEF CON 19. And I started looking at that and going, ooh, this is really cool.
20th DEF CON. Been wanting to do it for years, and it was just one of those things that just sort of lined up. All the moons lined up perfectly.
Definitely heard a lot about the con. It's somewhat affordable con. There's lots of technical discussions.
A whole bunch of really smart people that probably know more than I do, most of them. So I hope to learn something. The opportunity to hang out with those people that really know what's going on was, too enticing to miss out on.
And I thought this would be an amazing place to just meet really intelligent people. So now I'm here, and I'm really excited.
To meet a lot of interesting people and learn a lot. Had a lot of fun at once.
a big congregation where people that pretty much live anonymously online get to actually socialize in person and kind of not have to worry about as much revealing their identity.
Well, I've read all kinds of dire warnings about using anything here that's potentially hackable, and nearly anything's hackable. So
I was told to take the battery out of my phone.
I've got a checklist sort of in my mind. Tilt, colored hair. Drinking before 10 a.m. I haven't seen quite just yet.
Every single device in the world has some kind of computer in it, and all have vulnerabilities in one way or another, and this is an information of what those vulnerabilities could be and how to fix them and make them better and improve it for the future.
Are you the teacher?
Yes.
You are the teacher. And this is your first DEF CON?
Yes.
And you thought to take a pack of neophyte students into Las Vegas to go to a hacking conference?
Yes.
Yes. Do you have tenure?
Rule number 1, follow the 3-2-1 rule daily. And please bear in mind these are minimums. At a minimum, 3 hours of sleep, 2 meals, 1 shower. By tomorrow afternoon, the pungent and stank aroma of many DEF CON attendees will waft through the air and hit you like a Mack truck. So remember, you plus deodorant equals everybody wins. I, like many people here, will not remember your real name. There are lots of Steves, Jeffs, Chris's, and Bills, but only one, maybe two with your unique handle. Hopefully you've picked a good and unique handle to avoid conflicts in the namespace.
I'm Triple X.
Good to be back.
Hopefully you've picked a good and unique handle to avoid conflicts in the namespace. Create a good handle for yourself before someone creates it for you.
So I've got questions. Who here is from other countries? Wow. That's impressive. Thank you for coming all the way to join us, you guys. That's awesome that you came out. DEF CON is truly an event and a conference where you get out what you put into it. DEF CON is the one time a year where everything that we do year-round actually becomes physical. All these people that you've met in IRC, all these people you've been chatting to, all these people you've been reading their research, following their work, looking at the different things they're publishing, they're here. Walk up to them, tell them that you like their work, buy them a beer. They'll probably be your best friend. It's one of the biggest things about this crowd you've got to really swallow is the fact that we are all super, super approachable.
You can be a wallflower here and still get a lot out of it, but you're not going to get your $200 worth, frankly. You're going to have to interact, work with people, get to know people, go party with people.
If you don't know something, be proud of that. Be like, I don't know this. Can you please teach me? Can you please educate me and train me? This crowd loves spinning people up. Take the time to go in and learn from these people. They're geniuses, truly geniuses, and some of the best in the world in whatever it is that they're presenting or working with. So take advantage of it, you guys, okay?
All right, the next rule is one that basically says the media is not your friend. Don't trust them.
What do you think is the number one thing people misunderstand when they show up to DEF CON?
That it's a den of illegal activity, and you're going to come learn how to do really neat, illegal black hat. Going to get in trouble if the FBI shows up at your door, and you should show up with your ski mask on just so no one can know your identity. Yeah.
What is it actually then?
It's a publicly funded private party for a bunch of really cool people.
Yeah, our reputation is, it's out there, but people are proud of it, and I'm probably the only one who tries to go around and go, yeah, it wasn't quite like that. It was sort of like this. I don't think people understand how much goes in to creating a show of this size.
DEF CON looks like this big amorphous jellyfish of people everywhere, but what I hadn't realized is that there's really a lot of stuff that goes on the back end to keep it running like clockwork.
That's what makes DEF CON so exciting. It's super organic is the way I see it. If you're inflexible, it doesn't work with DEF CON because there's too many people, and you'll just break, and that's just the reality of it.
I always joke that for me, it's an opportunity to spend 4 days out of the year not caring about computers or computer security.
Everybody's Christmas, New Year's, birthday, anniversary wrapped up into one for hackers.
It's an experience that's not like anything that anybody has described because it's kind of something you can make what you want out of it.
Like, you can show up and you can just go to talks and you can sit there and get that out of the conference. Or you can show up and just party. You can show up and hang out in your hotel room with a bunch of friends. When it comes down to it, like, you're the driver of the experience. It's not a pony show where you can just, sit down in a seat and let it unfold before you. The more active you become inside the con, the more fun you can have.
For me, I think it's more social.
Mainly for me, it's just a lot of close friends that I get to meet once a year because of the diversity of where they all live in the United States. So this is kind of like a meeting point.
Go out there, be social, just run into people and say hi, and just strike up conversation because you will meet interesting people here.
It's fantastic. Everybody's friendly. I can sit down, talk to anybody, and I just ask them, what do you do? And they're happy to tell me about what kind of employment they do or the hobbies that they're in, and just striking up conversations. That's my personal favorite.
It's a combination of the people who I run into at DEF CON and just sort of the atmosphere. It's like a giant party that doesn't want to end, but there's a lot of really smart people in one place, and it's just, there's really no other place like it.
First qualification, if you will, to be a vendor at DEF CON is how are you providing back to the hacker community at large? A lot of money goes through there. It's kind of staggering. One thing that we try and do is most of these guys, most of the vendors, if you walk around that room, this isn't their primary business. These are people that are in the community. You'll take a look at these guys. They're only doing this time of year, and it's only to provide something to the community that they think is neat. Those kind of folks definitely get a priority when I'm looking through applications.
Okay, is this on? Yeah. Oh, boy. Okay, what I've tried to do
with the whole hacking community is raise the level of discourse. Like, that's the thing is like to bring information, make it accessible and widely dispersed at a reasonable price, and make people happy. And if I put a smile on their face, it's like, wow, really? That's a great price, and I get that too. Yeah, that's good. I don't need every last dollar. You know, what are you going to do with dollars anyway? They're just numbers.
Our main job actually is to create mayhem. That's actually what we've been asked by the management, make sure that we create a lot of mayhem. We actually have official DEF CON 8 posters from years ago that we found. So we're not selling them, we're giving them away, but you have to convince us to give you one. And that requires mayhem in the dealer's room of some sort that we don't officially support, but for some reason they end up with a poster. Who knew, right?
We are SimpleWiFi.com. We are long-range wireless made easy. We custom make all of our antennas in Miami, Florida. So if you want to go creating a hotspot and around your whole neighborhood, or you have that guy with unfortunately has an open signal, you want to pay for Wi-Fi, you can send your antenna pointing right at it, grab that signal, and you have internet for free.
The people that want something one year that you didn't bring invariably won't want it next year. It's like, everyone wanted network cables, or everyone wanted PIN card readers, or Prox card readers, or magstripe reader encoder decoders. It varies every year. And then everyone that leaves something behind, like, we need a hub, and it's like, okay.
I only have 53 tapes total that could be sold. Some vendors are getting 2, some vendors are getting 3. So you have to decide what's going to actually provide the most benefit to the attendees. What are they actually going to want to buy? And we certainly have made mistakes in the past. For one thing, I mean, we shouldn't have even called it the vendor area. There were a couple of years, and I can't blame anybody but myself for this, where it should have been called the buy your T-shirts room. The only thing that was for sale in there was T-shirts. You had 2 hardware vendors and 33 T-shirt vendors. Hackers love their T-shirts. I think, in a weird way, it's like a way to kind of express your identity. I think we all do that through our shirts. It's a way when you're walking down the hall at DEF CON or any other conference or at work or wherever, for people to kind of get an idea of who you are. So yeah,
take advantage and get 50.
Aspect of it is certainly important.
But this is one place where I can wear all my T-shirts.
And people will know what it is.
Yeah, people get it.
There's something about that, cinematic hacker that's both goofy and inspiring, and I still play up. There's this mystery around it. Oh, spooky hackers, and there's this dark side to it. And I think I still play that up in the art. That I'm still intrigued. I still don't know all of what's going on. I'm a maker. I'm not a hacker.
So I was a goon the first year, and they stuck me in the info booth, and then about halfway through the first day, Russ came over first and said, hey, I want you to draw on my badge. We had great big badges on it, and then Pyro came over and said, hey, draw on my badge, and then in about 10 minutes there was this line out the door of people draw on my badge, and so Russ came up with the idea, well, if you're going to draw on the badge, why don't you make them give $5 to EFF for every badge you draw on, and raising money, so laptop, I'd charge $20 for EFF, and then it ended up with a pile of money for EFF the first year, and so then the second year they said, you're not going to be in the info booth. You're going to have a booth and sell art and draw on things for people to raise money for EFF, and that's how that took off.
Now, if you want to be the best, you got to move and motivate.
You have to believe in what you're doing, and you have to believe that whatever you have is the hottest, coolest, newest, best thing. And that if you have any shred of doubt about what you're presenting, or if your heart's not 100% into it, the audience is going to pick up on that right away and tune out. That's the thing. I think the BS filter here at DEF CON is very, very strong.
I think the talks and the speeches are absolutely important because it gives the world an opportunity for a very inexpensive price to be able to go learn from the absolute best in the world in this industry about the absolute bleeding cutting edge of technology.
It was between 300 and 400 submissions that came in for people that wanted to speak at DEF CON this year. Yeah, it was a rough year just because of the number of quality submissions. And there were some that any other year absolutely would have been accepted. But I think because this is the 20th DEF CON, and it's because people want to be a part of DEF CON 20, we got so many more submissions and so many more quality submissions.
I mean, DEF CON speakers are all different types, especially this year. You have generals and you have 15-year-old kids, all of whom have something different to contribute. There's no really one thing that you can say that unites a DEF CON speaker except for their desire to present their ideas to an audience.
And we've got a really cool VIP this year. Yep. Really cool. They better show up.
The big celebrity speaker VIP for this year at DEF CON, the director of the NSA and director of Cyber Command, General Alexander. We've been trying to get somebody from the NSA high level to speak for 10 years. And it just so happens that we finally get somebody, and it just happens to be our 20th year anniversary. So the timing just works out really well. And I know people are going to get all bent and not over it. It's going to be like the love-hate relationship. They're also going to really be interested in what he has to say, and at the same time be really fearful of the NSA.
It's a milestone to see someone of his position and level come here and speak about security and hackers and those types of things.
Jeff Moss made a valid call, and he kind of said, look, we have to interact with these people, We have the technical skills, and they're the ones calling the shots. So we've got to interact with them, and at the end of the day, we've got to educate them,
Hello, DEF CON! Something I try to do with DEF CON is I want to expose you guys from the very first DEF CON to people you don't normally see. Like, I'm sure you guys just don't hang out and have coffee with the general, and neither do I. So to me, it's really eye-opening to understand, the world from their view.
Having the NSA here was a great unveiling of the support and I think a little bit of appreciation by the government towards our community now, and a little bit more understanding of the work we do and the actual end goals that we're trying to accomplish here.
Honor to be here. It's an honor and a privilege to be here. One of the things I want to talk about is the freedom domain, the internet, and what we can all do to work on this. And so I've got about 6 hours of presentation and slides that we'll cut down to some meaningful time for you.
I think it's amazing, and DT wouldn't believe you if you could go back in time and tell him 20 years from now you're going to have an NSA general here talking to the group sort of as an ally.
Seeing people like General Alexander come down and meet with us hackers, it's just amazing. I've been in the hacking scene for over 25 years now, and I remember the days when we were just considered criminals that no one wanted to integrate with. They didn't understand how a hacking ethos could be applied to things that weren't illegal. Now, this completely legitimizes what we're doing. People want to see what we're doing, they want to hear about what we're doing, and they're realizing that we have a role to play in keeping the world's infrastructure safe and keeping the government safe. That's awesome.
And there's a lot of things that are going on here. We can sit on the sidelines and let others who don't understand this space tell us what they're going to do, or we can help by educating and informing them on the best strategy forward that benefits all of us and our nation. And that's the real reason that I came here.
solicit your support.
But on the other side, we also have super privacy advocates. You know, the EFF is going to be right there next to them, and they're probably in a constant lawsuit with the NSA. You know, so try to represent both sides.
I mean, they're the ones that have been out there and helping when people try and do crazy laws that you know, they don't really understand the implications of. You know, the EFF will step up and try and, you know, right the ship and make things good for everyone, and we like to support them.
And what I'm trying to do when I have these speakers is I'm trying to expose the audience to people they wouldn't normally come in contact with. It's not just always fun and games hacking the system. There's a bigger world out there, and you're playing a part in it, and a very important part. And if I didn't, I kind of think I'd be doing a disservice. It would be sort of like intentionally, I don't know, not aiming as high. So if you don't like that speaker, don't go to that talk.
And I think when you bring in not only our great talent here, but those of our allies, I think that's absolutely superb. All right, that brings this session to a close, so let's have a round of applause for General.
I think the contest and events is very key because it's one of the things that you find if you go to a lot of different conferences, especially in the security arena, it's very boring. Usually you're sitting around at a bar getting really, really drunk with a bunch of friends and going to a couple talks that you're interested in seeing, but overall it's a lot of looking for something to do. We've just grown to where now I believe that I'm managing about 50 events and contests throughout DEF CON 20.
Not much, just cutting some logs. It just started out as shenanigans with, like, drunk people in bathrooms at DEF CON. But people started giving us money. I started telling them to donate to the EFF. And so people told me that I should make it official because it became tradition. Last year we raised about $4,000 total for EFF Hackers for Charity and other hackerspaces around the country.
I've been growing my hair out for 2 years. It was difficult for the girl because she's about this tall, and she had to stand up on a chair to actually finish it all.
This year we have a goal because last year he shook on it. DT will be getting a mohawk this year, if he likes it or not.
I've been playing Hack Fortress, which is an amazing competition. It's one of the highlights of DEF CON for me. Essentially, we have a team of 6 game players who play Team Fortress, really how it was meant to be played. You know, medic, heavy, and they try and capture points. We, as the hacking team, essentially, we're doing hacking challenges, cryptography, forensics, physical challenges, social engineering, information gathering, and that gives our team benefits. So it might, like the other team on fire, it might make everything our team shoots a critical hit. So it's this really cool combination of both gaming and hacking, which, you know, is awesome.
Now, you've got an objective here. You've got a 3-person team, and you have to infiltrate this office, steal a lot of information, and get back out again in 15 minutes.
But it's a penetration and data exfiltration job. So team-based people will penetrate into a virtual office, and we're framing out the walls and everything. You'll have to pick in. Once you're in,
a team of people then can try to get documents, which you don't just, unlock a lock. You have to spread them out, legibly photograph them, put them back where you found them. I think we're including now there's a smartphone, like an Android phone, so you have to hold it up just right. Maybe you see the pattern, you swipe it out, and you get some contacts. So I have this computer running Windows 3.1. So I'm watching people trying to fumble their way through Windows File Manager looking for data. But the really key thing is if you can unlock the computer where it's chained up, can you get the whole computer out of the office? And can you do it without powering it off? So we are hotjacking into the wires, splicing in a UPS, using a tool that Feds use called a hot plug to transfer the switching of the power on a whim. But a lot of people, mad dash, half Tiger Team, half Marx Brothers movie, running around this office, getting everything, getting out clean, locking it up after themselves. Yeah, I can see a lot of us who used to be the guy who would maybe get drunk and worry about being arrested. Now we all have jobs where we do this professionally and get paid for it.
Science over here, we're going to do less science over there. These teams are tasked with cooling a beer to exactly 42 degrees, which is ridiculous. But
people came through. People came through in amazing ways that I never expected. This year, I took away all the restrictions about what you can and can't do, and I said you have to get it to exactly 42 degrees. And this last-minute entry, Team Ice, not Science, if I remember the name right, hit it exactly, and it was a fantastic success in the end. Live from DEF CON in the beautiful city of Las Vegas. Behind me, you can see the skyline. It's a rooftop. Look, it's a rooftop. Over to your right, if Dave can get it. There we go. There's the mountains. There's Alexis Park.
Is part of the DEF CON legend. It definitely, it's probably the closest thing DEF CON has to a home.
I know, I wish it was still at the Alexis Park.
There was a long period of time that I associate with Alexis Park. We were there for a long time, 6 or 7 years.
I mean, we had the whole property, you could hang out by the pool.
This is some horrible 70s, like apartment building laid out rows and rows of these hotel rooms with pools and grass areas down the middle.
It's like multiple pools that we could just party at all night.
If you don't know what pool 2 means, if you don't know what pool 3 means, you weren't there. I mean, some really ridiculous stuff went on.
Pool 2 and Pool 3 were just sort of like these nexuses of activity and energy. You could be guaranteed to find something going on at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., all the way to, the sunrise.
and we had folks that were underage, and we had folks that were overage, and everyone was not sober and doing their thing. And
well, I was told at one point that at the Alexis Park we did enough business in alcohol sales that equaled about 4 months of their normal alcohol sales.
And you talk about debauchery. The AP was where true debauchery at DEF CON occurred.
And at the time, the hotel owners, they were all right. They were all right. They had the attitude of, you know what, you can trash our hotel if you want. You can pay for it. But you're going to, but at the end of the day, we'll take your money.
They weren't as concerned about the lights around the pool getting destroyed and things of that nature, so it was a little bit easier to deal with destruction in that way.
I go to check in, and they hand me a list with check-in. They're like, okay, let me explain this to you. And it's a list of all of the objects in the room at the Alexis Park with a dollar amount next to it. If you would like to destroy this object in your room, this is how much it will cost you.
You could just get insane and you weren't waking anyone up. You didn't have to worry about security coming and telling you to stop doing something because usually you were doing it to somebody who wanted you to.
The Alexis Park, we were much more hands-on because they didn't have the security staff that a casino does.
So I was arrested at DEF CON in 2002 by the hotel security guards, but I don't know who ordered it. I guess a goon, probably Priest, ordered it, and I ended up in the Alexis Park jail, which was very roomy. It was kind of a Bacchanalian Mediterranean motif. There were like grape leaves on the walls and things like that. There was no bars or anything like that.
And since it was a non-gambling hotel, you could do whatever you want, wherever you wanted, because you didn't have to be an adult.
You used to make announcements at DEF CON that so-and-so's parents are looking for their runaway child, who was 17 and was off at the con.
It was a different experience. Everybody says, I wish it was the Alexis Park again. Oh, I wish we were back at the Alexis Park. Honestly, I do too. I really like the environment, the pool parties, the open atmosphere. We had the whole hotel. But then everybody forgets that, oh, the lines are ridiculous. Oh, the rooms were overcrowded. Oh, I couldn't do anything. It was awful.
There was no room for speaking. I mean, people would make T-shirts about how terrible it was to get into the tent in the parking lot. So it's better. It's more organized. But yeah, it's a little different. I wouldn't go back.
For us to go back there now, we would have to cut this conference by 2/3. And nostalgically, yes, I look back on that time, and it was a great time. But we need a venue of the size of the Rio now to support the size that we've become.
But that's probably the time when things seem to settle in that, we've got something going here, and it's probably going to continue for a while.
Well, that's one of the things. I mean, obviously the Alexis Park is near and dear to a lot of people because this is, how many years have we been away from the Alexis Park? And still, every year, somebody drives over there, walks into the front of the hotel, and steals the giant floor mat in the front and brings it back to cons.
A conference badge has 3 purposes. The first purpose is to show that you paid for the conference. It's a security token. Number 2, it sets the level of your security when you're within the conference. Third, I wanted the badges that I created to be something that helped brought people together. I intentionally designed the badges to cause people to have to look at each other and talk to each other. To get to know somebody that they might not otherwise have known. It really is the interaction with the other people at DEF CON that makes DEF CON what it is. It's not that, I have this uber awesome electronic circuit badge that does such and such. It's the people wearing the badge that matter. And I think a lot of people miss that.
The years where we've had an electronic badge, people show up wanting to do something with this awesome little piece of tech that they were just given for their entry fee.
This is like an open badge solder session. We're helping people complete adding the connectors to their badges. we're not doing it for them. We're assisting them and letting them do it themselves, because that way they learn how to solder. So far, no one's done anything that hasn't been able to be fixed. So it's more of a just learning and community learning project, I guess, of just doing the badges.
Yes, first DEF CON, first time soldering. A lot of firsts this weekend.
I really like to help other people just get better at what they do, or to find an inspiration, something they're passionate about. And I like to help them progress along that path.
Pretty much 90% of people here have never soldered in their life. This is their first time, and that's the goal. If people introduce people, hey, it's not that scary, it's okay. We're here to guide you, and maybe you'll do it in the future. If not, you know you've done it. So it's one of those skills you'll have.
I know a lot of guys who are like collecting badge firmwares and flashing stuff and have no idea what they're supposed to be solving.
Usually the only people who are really getting it are sequestered in their hotel room just going crazy on it.
There's some people that counterfeit the badges every year. And we try to make the badges hard to counterfeit. And there's some people that spend a lot of time counterfeiting the badges. And I think that's cool. If you can counterfeit the badge and you can get past guards repeatedly, good for you. You probably deserve to get in, right? That's what a hacking convention is all about. If you're good enough to fool everybody, you put more energy into hacking that badge than we did probably in producing it. So good for you.
They had the smiley face, skull and crossbones, the basic logo for the con. And I think their first design flaw was same PCB board, different colors. So you had people that went out and spray painted them and things like that. Well, the absolute worst thing to do is to step into the goon sock with your cute little red badge and claim that you're a goon, because we all know who we are. And once the door closes, you're ours.
And so it was a space where I felt more at home, where I didn't have to explain anything to anybody in any other context I'd ever been in. Real hackers are incredible. They take nothing for granted, and they look at things to see how they can be combined to make something new. And hackers really have an interesting, innovative, creative way, the best of them, of looking at all sorts of problems that a normal person wouldn't know how to do. And being fearless in the face of ambiguity, holding multiple representations of reality simultaneously in your mind, even though they may be contradictory and conflicting, and holding them there lightly while you explore which ones are a best fit for now to the sensory data kiting. Feynman, great physicist, he said, the interesting fact is the anomalous fact. Emphasize both fact and anomaly, because it says there's a whole cornerstone here of another way of looking at things that we're missing. Well, that's what hackers are looking for, and that's why I've taken to it so, because the edge where new realities are appearing and normals don't see them at first, but hackers are looking for them. They're kind of the little homunculus inside the machine. When I come here, I don't have to explain anything to anybody. I don't have to back up and explain my point of view or my point of reference or why I said what I said or what was ironic or what was meant straight up, because people just kind of get it. And that's a terrific thing.
All right, Tara, you can stop the video now. Tara Thompson, are you there?
All right, go ahead, man. Yeah, for some reason my Facebook started acting up. That's why I was trying to get back on it. But thank you. What you just heard is, like I said, a convention of well-established, what they like to call themselves hackers. That every year they make an event where everybody throughout the world, including the United States, they come in, and they're going to get invitations from what somebody has referred to them, that they give them these special invitations. So not any person just can go into that special DEF CON event. It's only when who they seem deemed worthy could be attending these events. But moving on, I'm going to read y'all something so that a lot of people get a clear glimpse. And we're going to deal with its effect in the world. Okay. Whenever you talk about computers and internet, the word hackers, hacking, malicious vulnerability, cybercrime are often heard with the invention of internet. There has been a revolution in networking. Networking allows people to access information that is presented on the other side of the planet with a single click, and all it can be done without having to leave your house. There's an exponential increase in advancements of cyber technology, and this leads into an exploitation increase in cyber crimes, identity theft, sabotage, espionage on different organizations, states, and companies. Back in the 60s and 70s, the members of Youth International Party tapped the telephone lines and performance pranks. Most of the members in the group were young. It was countercultural in the initial stage, and it gradually made its way into hacking. Tools like pillars were replaced by a big multifunctional display, and the telephone lines were replaced by the internet. The goofy nature of the prank slowly vanished. Hacking was actually started as a prank. Get that? Back in them days when, remember, people must understand, computers been around longer than what we've seen back in the 70s, 80s. Because everything is funded by the government. So, they always get dibs of the new technology or the new innovation before they start sell it to wholesale to other communities within the United States and then across the world. Where was I? Pranks slowly vanished. Hacking was actually started as a prank, and now it has become one of the tools being used by terrorist organizations. These organizations use hacking techniques for many reasons, and some of which are to gather information about military movement, spreading their propaganda, and for fundraising. Now, if people remember when we were hearing about this thing about the Russia and the hack issue with America with the votes, possibly, but it needs to be a little bit more validated and really true, because really truly, one particular good friend of mine that's in the field IT said anything in regards to what they call hacking, mostly it was done here in the United States solely. So anything when they hear other nations start doing it, we always had a question, because anybody that's dealing with cyber threats or hacking in usually is done here in the soil. But that's what he says. So he's an IT dude, so I'm not sure how far he understands in regards. It's not about military, but this is what he got understanding. Told me this I would say maybe a year or two ago, maybe two. Moving on. Many nations consider hacking of networks or computer systems as a national threat, as stated by their intelligence agencies or security service. The activity, which was once a harmless prank, now turned into a crime, which is not less than other crimes. Some countries consider hacking as a kind of terrorism, and thus world governments condemn hacking. Let me repeat that again. Some countries consider hacking as a kind of terrorism, and thus world governments condemn hacking. So when they always refer to people that are hackers, and I'm going to read you 3 types of hacking, so we be clear about it. It's not just a regular hack. There's 3 different characteristics they give label people that are considered hackers. So you should always remember to stick to the legal side of hacking and not to venture into the dark side. Do not mistake that hacking is something that is confined to developing countries. With the exponential growth in information technology in the last 2 decades, it may surprise you to know that many of the hackers are from countries of Southeast Asia, which are considered as developing countries. Well, those are the countries that's stated in this book. And they said 2 decades. So let's say internet was developed in the mid-90s, like around 1990 or 1995, one of them times. And it was actually created by a Nigerian man. I think his name is Aliwado. I gotta find his name again, but there's a man from Nigeria who's well-equipped mathematician came up with what we call the internet. But they never give credit to this man because, you know how America, particularly racist, don't want to give credit to anything a black man, black woman create. All right, so let me turn this. Well, let's see why people like to hack or do what they do. Crackers, we like to call them. Cracking the systems. Most of the time, the task of risk of breaking into systems illegally with the main intention of making money. They get hold of your confidential information from your system or networks and obtain information for their financial gain. These guys steal information and retrieve them from a system for monetary gain. There are a few hackers who like to take everything as a challenge and do things which are prohibited and retrieve information that is forbidden. While some hackers just break into a system for the fun of it or for sending a message. Some hackers break into the system of organization or a company with the intent of cracking chaos or creating chaos, better like. Some hackers break into the system belonging to the government organizations and protest against them. Instead of raising their voice against the government holding slogans, they silently sneak into systems and exhibit their disapproval. Those are crackers, another form of hacking. I'm going to stop here. Let me give you out the call number again before I continue. The call number is 515-605-9783. 515-605-9783. You may press 1 if you have a question. And I'm going to check the board now if anybody's hand raised up. I don't see no hand raised up. So, one thing, I'm going to give you out the 3 characteristics, the type of hackers. 1 second. Had it with me a while ago. At the end of this broadcast, I will give y'all guides to way to protect yourself. Because there's always a solution to every problem. I know people like to keep talking about the problems, but never really talk about ways of measure a solution. And this is talk real solutions, so we have to be consistent with every broadcast. I like to call it. All right, where is that? Try to find it. I had it a while ago. Oh, okay, on this page. Is this one? Ah, here it is. Found it. There are three types of hackers. There are white hackers, there are gray hackers, and there are black hackers. The black hacker is what they consider was one of the elites, and they also have elite hackers. But there's 3 or 4 categories we have to look into in regards to hackers. White hat hackers. The term white hat is used to refer to someone who hacks into computer systems or networks for intention that are not malicious. They may do as a part of a series of test performance to check the efficiency of a security system or as a part of research and development that is carried out by companies that manufacture computer security systems or softwares. As known as ethical hackers, they carry out vulnerability assessment and penetration tests, which will be explained in detail in further chapters from what it said. Gray hackers or gray hat hackers. A gray hat hacker has a curious mix of both black hat and white hat characteristics. He travels the internet and snips out networks, faults, and hacks into systems. He does so with the sole intention of demonstrating the system administrators that their network has a defect in terms of security. Once they have hacked into the system, they may offer the diagnosis and rectify defects for a suitable consideration. All right. Now, black hat hackers. A black hat hacker, as the name suggested, is a polar opposite of a white hat hacker. in terms of both intention as well as methodology. They validate a network with malicious intent for monetary and personal gain. They are the illegal communities who fit the community perceived by stereotypes of computer criminals. They gain access to the system and steal or destroy the information or modify it to their own benefit. They may tweak the program in such a way that it is rendered useless for the intended user. When they notice a small spot of vulnerability errors in the system, they take control of the system by using this weakness to gain entry. They keep the proprietary authorities and the general public unaware of such vulnerability. They do not make any attempt to fix the problem unless threatened by a third party. And if I go into elite hackers, since there's 3 or 4 characteristics. Elite hackers, these are the cream of the elite cream of hacking communities. This is a mark of a social status used to denote the most persistent hackers. They are the first ones to break into seemingly impenetrable systems and write programs to do so. It is usually confirmed on them by the hacking community by which they belong. And these are the characteristics of the hackers. I mean, if people want to know more, they could do their own for research if they give a damn. I think it's important, especially we do live in a technological age. And I did in recent broadcasts months ago of last year in regards to AI, artificial intelligence. If people go back on T.R.S.com back in, I would say in the month of May or June, I did a broadcast on that, and I talk about how AI and the future of technology and its purpose of humans, and how, if AI becomes more intelligent, it will, I would say, fix the problem to what we see the problems going on in the world. If they deem it, allow it, if they let computers run everything. And a lot of stupid movies talk about this, but in general, because the more things advance, the more less need for man or woman's need for, basic stuff, Because we let things like computers, robots, and all that stuff do most of the grunt work. Only time will tell. Nothing's absolute. So now, what you're going to hear now, I might just have run for like maybe 10 or 12 minutes, depending on the situation, is a clip dealing with cybersecurity and further more information. Tyron, you may play the clip now.
All right, hold on.
Okay.
Understanding the truth about living in a technology world. Well, first of all, understanding the truth about living in a technology world. Well, first of all, they are predicting that by 2017 that the global cybersecurity market is expected to go from $64 billion in 2011 to $120 billion. Well, why so much? Why such an increase? Well, the issue here is really that cybercrime is up. Cybercrime is a growing industry. The returns are really great for the hacker, and the risks are extremely low. It's estimated that an annual cost globally will be over $375 billion, and that's being very conservative. There are some estimates that go up to $575 billion. Now let's put that in perspective. If you took all the revenues from the top technology companies, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, eBay, Yahoo, Apple, and Netflix combined, you wouldn't get close to what cybercrime is doing. Let's look at this a different way. The cybercrime victims per year is over 566 million victims. Let's break that down. That equals out to be 1.5 million victims per day, or 18 victims per second. Now, the cost of cybercrime includes not only the effects to businesses, but also to hundreds of millions of people globally. Over 657 million identities will be exposed, and a majority of those will end up being stolen. In fact, of that, 40 million were from the United States. 54 million from Turkey, 20 million from Korea. This isn't just a single country issue. This is a global issue. And the cost of cybercrime will continue to increase as businesses move more of their functions to an online presence and as more companies and customers around the world get connected. And again, this is not limited to just a single or just a couple of industries. Some of the most heavily hit industries for data breaches, you can see, are healthcare and businesses, well beyond banking and government and education. And a lot of times people look at that and they go, well, I would think that banking would be a bigger hit. Well, not really. Think about the information I can gather from healthcare. Tons of identity information, Social Security numbers, income. Business is going to be your customer base. Businesses also include the loss of intellectual property. This is a big issue. We've got major countries that are stealing intellectual properties from other countries, and they'll continue to do that so long as the acquiring countries improve their ability to make use of this information and to manufacture competing goods. One of our biggest issues is how it's controlled. Governments have got to get serious about somehow controlling this environment. I'm not saying government control, but prosecution. I mean, think about this one. If you come home and somebody's broken into your front door, who do you call? Right. Police, local police. They come out and they help you out, right? If somebody steals your credit card, okay, granted, you may contact your credit card company and say, hey, there's a weird charge on my card, and they refund that. But who goes after that person? How do you go after somebody in a completely different country? So I got to ask you the question. How protected do you feel? Let's take a look at what's going on right now. This is a live cyber threat map showing us live attacks going on. Did you know that in 1984 there was only 1,000 devices on the internet as a whole? In 1992 there was 1 million devices. In 2008 there were 1 billion devices. 2014 they estimate that there is 1.4 trillion devices on the internet, and by 2015 it's supposed to increase by 30%. That would bring us up to 4.9 trillion devices on the internet. In 2011, did you know that 20 homes generated more traffic than the entire internet of 2008? And if you think that's amazing, 90% of the world's data has been created in just the past 2 years. Now here's the scary part. More than 600,000 Facebook accounts are compromised every single day, and 1 in 10 social networking users actually admit to falling victims to some type of phishing scam or fake link that's posted on the social network platforms. 59% of the ex-employees, this is kind of a scary one too, 59% of ex-employees who leave the company admit to stealing company data when they leave their jobs. So I ask you again, how protected do you feel? Well, that's what we're here to show you. We're going to go through and talk about the different attacks that are hitting companies worldwide. Whenever I teach ethical hacking, it's funny. I have my students come in on the first day and they're like, yeah, hacking, here we go. And that's great. I want you to be excited about it. By day 2, they go, that's kind of interesting. Day 3, they go, wait a second. Day 4, they're going, hang on. And on day 5, they're typically, holy cow, I got to go back and rethink things. In fact, I'm going to go back and rethink my home network. Folks, it's time to wake up. I don't care if you're here for the Certified Ethical Hacking Certificate to take the exam or not. This knowledge is not only beneficial, it is imperative that you learn this. So come with me and let's get started. So first, what does certification bring you? A lot of times we take an exam, we get a certification, and we get that certificate, we put it on our wall for about the first year, and then it ends up on our dartboard. Or it becomes a doorstop. Well, when it comes to certification with CEH, you need to understand that that this certification actually brings to you an international recognized certification. This is one that's known throughout the entire IT industry. It is, in fact, an industry standard. So much so that the CEH certification actually meets the Department of Defense Directive 8570.1, which basically is a directive that came out and said anybody that deals in the IT side of things when it comes to government, it has to have some type of certification, CEH being one of those. As far as benefiting your resume is concerned, CEH will actually help make you stand out as someone who understands how a hacker thinks. The most recent survey in 2015 showed that a certified ethical hacker, their salary range is anywhere from $25,000 up to $111,000 per year. And obviously with everything that's been going on in this world as far as hacking and technology is concerned, this certification is in high demand. Just because the aspect that it, again, is teaching you to be more proactive than reactive to what's happening.
Okay.
So you may ask yourself, well, should I be watching this series of courses? Well, that depends. The folks that are going to get the most out of this particular course are going to be those that are security officers within their company, possibly also auditors, and this could be both internal auditors or external auditors, security professionals, and this would include consultants, site administrators, as well as just standard administrators, and also anybody or anyone that might be worried about how secure their environment is. I could actually make an argument for home users to be interested in this course.
Tyrone, can you stop the video?
So how do you maintain your certification?
Thank you. Yes, that right there was just showing a glimpse of the projection of the amount of cyber crimes that has jumped substantially over the last 30 years. Because, as technology advances, people advance. And people advance, they're able to understand and manipulate the system the way how they say fit. Now, mind you, the people like you just hear on the audio named John Erickson, and he wrote a book specifically on how to hack it and the art of exploitation. And he goes into how to do it and what process to understand, especially in coding. He said himself that he's been coding at the age of 5 years old. And we always ask a lot of these people that's been doing it or able to master it, they've been doing this when they're like little till now. So it's not like they were just gotten it when they were like teenager or almost close to adults. They've been doing this computer thing when they were like toddlers. The video that I might share on the chat room, if people watch it, if they get a chance tonight, watch it or whenever they get a chance. If you look at the convention, majority of them are pretty much Caucasoid, maybe Asians, etc. That's in those conventions. And we might come across maybe one or two black kids, but majority of them is them. So the purpose, anything, even showing this video and really going into this thing is that as a race of our own people, are we really prepared? We use the internet every day for foolishness, but do we really have our young children understand computers? So not only they make money off it, but to protect themselves. I look into this, really. And it came and hit me one day when I was thinking about saying, let me look up hacking. Because I deal with computers in my own way. But I never deal with it in this way where I think that the possibilities of people that are very knowledgeable that they could do these things with a simple keystroke of a button with a computer. So I always question, say, if this is the future, and this is this early stage of what they call the 21st century, are our people really prepared for what is already here and what is further to come? Because we always say we get our money up. Yes, very important. But are we understanding the things that are really important in regards to pushes of the race people, in regards to science and technology, especially technology, which a lot of people are not really touching that much. We might have some that's in the engineering field, but they're not really touching this type of stuff. So we always got to question, are we really prepared? Because we're going to really talk about dealing with the supremacy or trample it down, whatever they want to. Hold on a second. I got some online. 1 second. All right. I always question, are we really prepared? So what I'm about to do now is I'm going to give the number up one more time, and I might check the board for any questions The number to call in is 515-605-9783. 515-605-9783. You can press 1 if you have questions so far what you hear or glimpse on tonight's show. And the title of the show is Stop Hacking and Watch the Signs for Exploitation. A very much touchy and important broadcast. Something a little different that is not really talking heard amongst our people, you know. Matter of fact, it's not even be discussed at all, period, because when people hear about hacking and cybercrime, they never question, what is that? You know what I'm saying? How deep it affects not only the system, but affects us, regular people, the consumers that uses this thing called the internet today, or any form of technology to use commerce or finance. Very touching and dull subject. What I'm going to do right now, as I wait for people to raise their hand, I'll give a few guides. So give me a second. TC targets. All right. As I try to find it. And these are a few glimpses of guides people could take. And matter of fact, before we go, we are always going to say, what is a threat? Really, because people don't understand when your computer has a threat or is being under attack. What is that? There are a few things and a few categories when I'm talking about what is a threat. Cookies pop up were tools that were used by online criminals for stealing or information. These tools silently enter into your or our PC and steal all of our personal information. Viruses are serious threats that attack your computer and data and generally disrupt our life while they aren't used to steal. Wait, or something. That's nothing. Our sensitivity, personal information, internet criminal created by spyware to do so. Spyware, in depth. I hear background noise. Somebody beat that line. Spyware is a software that records all activity performed on a PC, etc. Which sites we are browsing means it records everything, information, what we are doing online. Once captured, this information will be sent back to an online criminal for use of access or personal information, stealing our identity and our money. It can also be used for hijacking our PC for a serious illegal operation. Spyware enters in our computer by websites, web browsers, unusual e-commerce sites we are browsing, software we are downloading, weakness in the operation system we are using. Now, usually the operating system, depending on what we use, like, you know, Windows, XP, or on them type of, even the ones that's obsolete right now, that still present, but because Windows has now gone through 10 now, they don't really focus no more on XP or any of it. They still use Windows 7, 8, but within, I would say, 5 or 10 years, they soon will obsolete those because the operations will still be intact. Hold on a second. Let me check my board. Okay, something just popped up, so I don't know what that is. Like I said, press 1 if you have your hand raised. Okay. Virus versus spyware. What are the difference? Viruses. Damaged data. They are written by hackers. It can be detected by antivirus software. Most computers are protected from it. The threat is decreased. Spyware. Steal sensitive and personal information written by professional online criminals. It cannot be detected by antivirus software. Let me repeat that. It cannot be detected by antivirus software. What are the major softwares that people buy purchase? I think it's I'm trying to remember what it is again. Y'all know them if y'all buy them. What else? Very few computers are protected from it. The threat is increasing. How do we know that we are victims of internet attacks? More than 90% of users of the internet are already a victim of cybercrime. That's how much percent from what it said. I'm going to take a call because somebody raised their hand up. unavailable. Who am I'm talking to? Hello? Your line is open, unavailable. Can you hear me? I'll open your mic. Hello? Okay, I guess you're just listening. I'm going to keep your mic open. If you have something to say, you can speak now. I'm not going to mute your mic. Let's continue reading. Okay. Okay, these are the symptoms to know if you are attacked or a victim of cybercrime. One of them is increased amount of email. Increased mail means that the personal information has already been collected by cookies, and they are using that for information to send false email. That's one threat. Threat 2, unwanted pop-ups. Various pop-ups are coming we are online. Those pop-ups are generally spyware tools and a load of computer without one knowledge. Strike 2. Computer speed reduced, that is a pass. Spyware load into one computer use the same memory of one computer, thus making the overall system performance slow. 3 strikes. All right, now how do we protect ourselves? Good question. How to protect yourself from internet threats. If someone follows below mentioned steps of initial with very good antivirus software, then they can protect their PC from online threats. One of them is find out what is already presented on your computer. With the help of very good internet security analysts, we can find out the software and spyware that we already been installed on our system. This requires a complete scan of the system with very good internet security tools. What else? Get rid of threats. Threats are found on our computers. It is very important to eliminate them as soon as possible. If we delay them, the chance of becoming victims of financial and identity theft increases. For this, the user should use as very good and solid anti-spyware software programs, which help to eliminate cookies, pop-up adware, Trojan horse, and like spyware tools that are installed on the system. Let me see if I'm going on. I might flip to the next book because there are many other cases. Okay. Let me see. Oh wait, before that, let me see if this is probably a good one. Let's see. There are differences in depth. I don't know if I read what a virus is and a worm and a Trojan horse is, but viruses. What is a virus? Because it said some computers have a virus, but do we really know what a virus is in the term of a hacker layman term language? Viruses. It's a computer virus traveling from one system to another by multiple itself into many sets of similar copies and causes infection to computer by disrupting many applications or programs in the computer. They come into effect from executable files. When the X files is open, the virus spreads in the computer itself. When users exchange some information by email or pen drive, those code files are secretly transferred from one system to another. And when users open these files, viruses start spreading into systems. These computer viruses cause billions of dollars of loss each year by wasting system failures, wasting computer resources, corrupt data, increasing maintenance costs, deleting files, etc. Those antivirus creations start by investing huge amounts of money by feeling now there is no antivirus made which can handle all kinds of viruses. The antivirus software needs to be regularly updated in order to recognize the least threat. Nowadays, virus is traveling by internet, but early versions are traveling by removable media and floppy disks, etc. And like again, symptoms again. Slow computer performance, data loss, corruption crash, appearances. A blue screen frequently shuts down of computer. To prevent from viruses, use best antivirus software. Regular updates antivirus software as possible. Don't open message from unknown senders and immediately delete them. don't visit the suspect website or any suspicious website. Let me try. A worm. Compare the difference between viruses and worms and Trojan horse. Worms, they are also like viruses, but they are much more dangerous than a virus. They spread rapidly via email through computer web networking. It does not require any attacks code files to be exited for spreading like viruses. Many worms are designed just to spread to another system via mail and not cause any damage to it. A payload is a code in worm designed to be more than spread the worm, like delete files, etc. Several worms, like XSS worms, have been written to find out how worms spread. Once worms enter into the system, the worm spontaneously generates additional email messages containing copies of worms and spread worms, even spread by social network sites. Protection against worms. Require security updates. Also used should not open unexpected mail, should execute the code or any attachment attached to it. Example of a worm like Blaster's worms, which forces the PC to reboot again and again. What makes worms so much dangerous is that it spreads as fast than other computers and is very difficult to remove. All these worms from all the computers, as already discussed, worms spread in networks, so all the computers' connection and network will be affected by worms within minutes as soon as the system is infected. So when I said the difference between viruses and worms, we know which one's more dangerous. Sometimes internet service providers, ISP, is a company which provides internet, will cut off our system from internet connection so that the worms from our systems should not be spreading to other systems in the network that uses the same internet connection of the company. So there you have it. Those are the more dangerous viruses. I'm going to check the board again. And like I said, before the show ends, I'll give some guides of maybe some solutions. And the number to call in again, hold on a second. The number to call in is 515-605-9783. I repeat, 515-605-9783. Press 1 if you have a question. And not available, I still have your line open if you're ready to speak. I'm not sure if this is Mr. Figman, but anyway. .hack. The title of the show is .hacking. Watch the signs for exploitation. So, and the funny thing, it said update your computers. I don't know how often people update the computers. Maybe Windows 10 they constantly update, but the question we ask, do people update their virus detection? And where it says constantly updated, because like anybody, like these hackers you hear in the video, they always constantly find ways to break into your system. So to have prevention, just like the clues you can find, is always keep a strong update. And you might need like one of them little cleaners in your system to time to clean up your system, because like anything like the doctor, you need some type of remedy or some type of cleanser. Like a lot of people cleanse the system. Computers require that same way. And usually a good program to download to clean your system would be CCleaner, one of the most best useful tools. And there are many others out there on the net. You just gotta research them and find which one is best for you to always constantly clean your system from unwanted fragments like data that's roaming, deleted files. Defragment is also a good one too to download to clean the memory and the hard drive space of fragments that was left after you delete complete files. There's always something left there, so you want to easily remove that so your computer doesn't run slow. And another thing I would say, if your Windows right now and your window, as you see in front of you, have a lot of files, like just regular programs that's laid in front of your eyes in the computer, you want to create a file and store them into one file or a few files, depending on how much you have on your computer. You don't want to have them like laying around all over files, as you can see, where you can easily click on. You want to make sure that your windows look as clear as possible. There's no backup files or anything. It's in front of you. You want to put them in a nice folder so the computer doesn't have to sit there, register, open up those files automatically. You know what I'm saying? And CClear could give you options to control the options of which ones you want to be automatically open when the computer turns on. You got to mess with it. 1 second. I have a message. Okay. Let me check who this is. Okay. Oh, okay. I think my person wanted him to call in, but I guess he said something's wrong with his mic. Okay. All right. Just call back, caller. Maybe it'll fix the issue. If you can hear me now. Just hang up and call back. It should be able to fix the problem. Okay, moving on. I know tonight it got very quiet because this is something that is not really much popular, much as anything in life, because this is serious. No. Man, we live in serious times. Wait, hold on. What was that? Okay. We live in serious times, and we got to get our shit right, man. We got really bogged out of this technology thing, this economic thing. Anything we do in regards to better ourselves and better us as a community and a nation as people. And one thing, even with the guests I have on my show, recent shows, what they're not is to bring a point and potentially a solution to everything, because nothing is lost. We should not give it so easily. You know what I'm saying? We've been through the rough of the rough, and here we still stand and rise. So, like the Phoenix bird, we will continue to rise, and how we allow it to be. You know what I'm saying? And not let no adversity or anything, any system, put pressure us or hold us down to what we really want to accomplish as a whole, as a people. You know what I'm saying? Because in life is hard and tough. It's supposed to be tough, hard, because nothing is supposed to be given easy. You have to work hard for this, for anything you do. You know? I don't expect nothing easy. I don't want nothing given. If I had to work for it, I would. You know? Just to get what needs to be done. Everybody should have that same mindset. You know? So, as I wait for this particular caller to come back, let me go further. Okay. And there are ways to become it. And then like I said before, with our children, I know some people have kids right now, depending on what age they are. I would advise every adult. Okay, hold on, somebody dropped. Okay. Every caller, every person will have, or adult that has children, boys or girls, depending on what age they are, if they're toddlers or maybe, almost teenagers, they always my recommendation is to, while they're learning the school, get them into, try to get them into learning some little computer science a little bit, And there are some programs and videos that they can watch to understand it. It's a little complex, but it'll be worthwhile them looking at it, you know what I'm saying? And the younger the better, because if a Caucasian boy or girl could learn coding at age 5, then our children could learn that and take it even a step further. Because we are special people. We do amazing things if we put our mind to it. So why not try to introduce many things to our children? And this is one of the many tools we should introduce our children. Now, I have a caller in. I'm going to take this call right now. All ones, the line is now open. Who is this? Wait, hold on. This line just dropped again. All right. But anyway, so even I advocate enough people, instead of having your child, learn sports, get them into those books. You know what I'm saying? Try to learn things that will be more permanent in their lives moving forward. The way how the world is shaping, you know what I'm saying? Man, a lot of our children already understand how to use this phone, this iPad. So get them into something that will benefit them further on in their development in life, Because, if a convention of Caucasian or other race people could be in showing tricks and tools how to scheme people or take information and stuff for, I would say, criminal use. That shit, our people could make use of this and better themselves and, protection the next person. Because there's always a countermeasure to anybody that's knowledgeable to things like hacking, And to be a hacker, it doesn't take much. You got to understand, .NET, JavaScript, C++, C programming, all forms of Windows operations, Linux. If you think about Steve Jobs was once a hacker. Imagine that. Before he even came into, the Apple universe or developed Apple, what they say. Who else was a hacker? Let me check. I think the guy that created Linux was also a hacker too. And there's many. List goes on. There's stories of famous. Even what's his name? Edward Snowden is a hacker too. Okay, he worked for, I think was it the government? I forgot which part of the government. And was making like almost $200,000 a year in cyber protection. So it's not only the finance will be there if you learn this, but you could also empower yourself. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you don't have to work for nobody if you know how to do all this, and create business out of this. Just like anything you do. So, get your children on this, you know what I'm saying, as soon as possible, I mean, anything I advocate besides reading about history and stuff, they should know a little bit about computer science and some coding, you know what I'm saying? Because now, as the world gets more technically advanced, these things will be necessary, for further down, for the future's sake, Because as we use this computer more our daily lives, we got to learn enough things how to protect ourselves and how to use it for our advantage. I mean, these are the one main skills our people don't look into too much, besides the ones that's being born now and was born back in the early 2000s, because this is their time now. Once they become adults in the next, I would say, 3 or 4 years, especially ones that was born in the year 2000, they're going to be adults in the next year or two, or adults already, depending on what year 2000 they were born. So, get into the field, you know what I'm saying, and get into it to better yourself. All right. I'm going to take this call again because it's hand raised.
Gary?
Yes, it's me.
Hi, this is Gigi. I just wanted to say thank you very much for this program. I can see that you're working really hard, and you're giving us a lot of great information, and I think you're doing a good job, and I wanted to just say thank you.
Thank you, Gigi. What do you find interesting on what you have heard or learned so far?
I didn't know about the different types of hackers, like the white hat, black hat. Was there a gray hat, too, in the middle?
Yeah, and there's elite hackers. It's normally 4, but 3 is the one people should focus on.
Right. Because, this is stuff that younger people know, but I don't. I'm new to all of this internet and Facebook and Blog Talk and all that other stuff. And it's stuff that you know how your kids don't want to really, deal with you when you ask them these questions, but they know it like the back of their hands. So I think that it's just very kind of you and very generous of you to take the time, because this audience could be kind of rough with each other. So before the slings and arrows come, I just wanted to let you know that you're doing a great job.
Mm-hmm. One thing, Gigi, even going into this topic, because this is not a most famous or entertaining topic, but it
important.
It has to be taught nonetheless, because we do live, as technology advances, people advance, but we should always, what direction we as people are going with this technology thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because people said, in the video last week I played by John Erickson, when he talking about even the career in this field, I look at more of understanding it in its entirety, because as things become more technically based, you're going to have to find ways to. There's no end, or you're going to pay for it. You know what I'm saying? And which way you probably pay for it financially or your information, because data is very important. Right. And one I might do in the future, if I ever find this guest, is in regards to credit and how it plays a role. The same thing about collecting data. You know what I'm saying? People should be aware. But
wait, you said that Steve Jobs was a hacker?
Steve Jobs? Yes. In one of the books, they said that he was once a hacker before becoming, what he is now, I don't know if he was in a teenager. Yeah.
But you're saying he was not a malicious hacker? Like
it's very hard what type of hacker he was. I mean, if there was a book written about him, we have to probably know a little bit more because we don't really know much about Steve Jobs and them dudes that create, let's say, Apple, Microsoft computers. Even let's say, what's his name, Bill Gates, the one that founded Microsoft, right? He was before him growing up, he was a coder. He learned this at a certain age. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Remember, as much time our people idolize white people, we cannot. One thing we have to be clear: these people are up on things. So when the things arrive, they are prepared. A lot of them that got into it and making billions out, they already introduced with their parents that was in certain areas of the government at the time. And say that already seeing the possibility. Because we look at the computers especially, that this was developed by the military back in the 50s. And we do our history and find out thoroughly. You know what I'm saying? So now we look at the 70s. All of a sudden, it says we see here we find a computer system for small companies. And then during the 80s, it went from that to the regular household computers, which we call Macintosh. A movie that talked about this was Steve Jobs' movie. He talks about the history of Mac, where they say you want every person in the house to have in their house. And that was back in 1984. That's 33 years ago. Now we look at 33 years going on to the 90s, where now it said everybody fully has a computer, where the internet started coming around in the 90s. And since then, everything becomes technically, everybody using a computer now in an everyday household. Even phones now are considered a type of computer base.
Right.
Back then it wasn't.
Even
now because
even baby toys.
Everything is based on this. So our understanding is a necessity to know this. You know what I'm saying? It's not so we can sit there continue play around and then hope that somebody out of the family can know. We have children now that as much times they know this, they really don't know the depths of this. I'm saying because other race children are already on it and twice advanced and know the things to do to manipulate it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's not something more just to understand base. You want to understand in its entirety to use it for your advantage and your protection. That's the purpose of this. So when I mention these people that's been coding at this age, we always look at our children and possibly say, if we just introduce certain things to our children, depending what age they are now, that they could take this to a better and further level. You know what I'm saying? With time and patience. Instead of teaching things that is irrelevant. I'm looking around, they could play sports and stuff, that's fine, but it doesn't really get them where they need to go in life now as we see things shifting. You know what I'm saying? And we got to keep paying attention to this. You know what I'm saying? Because let's say one out of some people will make it to the league and all this. So I'll tell you, if we do this a numbers game, why we better put a risk on our own children, boys and girls, to do this or anything they do, instead learn the basic things where it's possibly they might get a job if they choose to, or they can make their own profession for themselves. So like T.R.S said, you can make money off the internet, but at times what you know how to utilize this is for your benefit. So knowing this and something else and further on are the necessary tools, you know what I'm saying, to not only it's financially keep you stable, but take it other directions, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying everybody should be an IT, but everybody should have a good understanding of how the system works, computers works and all that stuff. Even in regards to designers.
Especially, I think the people who have young kids, because it's almost like letting a stranger into your home. You open up your whole home and your life and all your, personal interests out into the world, and the kids don't really know. They're getting better now, but they really don't know how dangerous it can be.
I tell you right now, the amount of hackers that's been grown in the last 20, it's ridiculous. So let's we have a regular student, right, that don't understand this, right, and they just do it for fun, right? You can't just click onto any site or anything like that, because now said these people are able to create fake websites, Twitters, all that stuff. All it takes is a click, and your intellectual property is forever compromised.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you're not careful. I don't want to scare nobody, but we got to be really serious about this. You know what I'm saying? That at times, it's harder. And depending on your financials or your income, depending on what you make, it's easy to give sexual information easily if you don't understand how to network or how to protect yourself. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're shopping. And a lot of people are not being shopped online now greatly. I would say more than 50 or 6%. If we do percentage, that more people use online to shop now. So now that you're giving intellectual information away freely. Yes, PayPal can protect you, but it's not going to protect you in a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because people, they make a living, find ways to break the code.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Movies, a lot of movies depict this. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they make a life, find ways to create chaos in the net. And they do it for fun and gain, some of them. And those are the labeled black hackers. Black hackers. You know what I'm saying?
So
and,
we have to
and one thing I like to share with people, one or two sites that's pretty hard to hack, but has been hacked before, is Facebook and Google. Google's probably the most challenging one because their security is very much on point. So I advise everybody, if they got a computer right now, make sure you have Google Chrome as your web browser. Do you hear me?
Oh.
I'm going to repeat that again. Make sure you have Google Chrome as your web browser. And Firefox is good, but make sure you have that as your top browser. And this is a cybersecurity information I want people to be learning clear. And I want you to play it when the show broadcast ends. It's coming on YouTube. Never, ever in your life use Internet Explorer. Ever. No. If you see it, don't use it. Make sure you stay away from it. And let me tell you why.
Okay. Hey, Gary, before you get into that, man, I think I got an audio that goes to your topic here. And it's a young lady that's on Facebook that's pretty popular. And let me let you guys hear what she just went through, okay?
Okay, play now.
Okie dokie.
What's up, y'all? This ain't Happy Miko right now, but I think I need to share this with the world right now. Hey, guys, I woke up this morning. My Facebook page was down. As long as you guys have seen me on Facebook since 2004 and 1990-something, when I was in college, in 2000, the beginning of 2000, I was on Facebook when I started in college. And I've always been Cuttin' Miko, Cuttin. But I want you guys to know this. I was shut down. I should have paid attention. Facebook inboxed me and asked me if I was a celebrity, that I've been followed by a lot of people, and they're trying to change my page over. Okay, I get it. But I've been Cuttin' Miko forever, so they deactivated my account, right? So I had to go through this process, and you guys, they're going to send you an email, and they're going to say, prove who you are, right? So I actually took a picture of my actual ID, and I sent it to this company, and they called me back, guys, right? And I figured they're going to activate my account. So they called me, and they told me, they said, hey, we need you to download Supremo Control. Y'all pay attention. Supremo Control, SUPREMO Control.com. I did that. And do you know that it put a virus on all my computers in my business, and it also went into my bank account and robbed me blind. Y'all, when I say I've been robbed today, I've been robbed like down to the 0 cent. And I got 2 kids at home. So when I'm telling you I'm pissed more than ever. Come to find out this subsidiary company is called Supremo Control. They are literally in India. So you can't mess with a hacker, because I'm going to get in and I'm going to find out where you guys at. So they have on Supremo Control at the end that they're in Italy, but they're not. They're connected to Facebook. And when you call, they'll tell you that they're Facebook. They just really want to get in your computers, which makes sense. Every time Target and Walmart break down and all these numbers with these debit cards, guys, we're actually buying things online, buying things through Facebook, and they're getting our information and they're robbing us. I just been robbed like to $0. Do y'all hear me? Just robbed. And I'm online, and I've been dealing with the community. I'm actually online, and this is what you do. I'm actually making a report, and I'm with the government, the FBI right now, and when you have an internet crime, this is what you need to report. Guys, this is not a joke. This is for real. A joke. So all this viral thing has attracted all type of criminals my way, and not only that, Facebook is linked with something. So please share this video, because I don't know how I'm going to feed my children out. and I just don't know what to do, and I don't want it to happen to near one of you guys. This thing is real, y'all. Pay attention to what you're buying online, especially through Facebook. Pay attention when they deactivate your account. Get your attorneys on the ball as soon as you can. This is no lie. This is my warning from Miss Miko to you. I'll be back stronger than ever, but I'm trying to get my money back. Please share this with the world, y'all. When I say this company has came in and blackened all my computers and taken money, is
All right, that was it, man. I thought that might go in line with what you're talking about here tonight.
Okay. One thing I want you to do, Tom, you share that on T.R.S. your link like page. Share that, please. So people watch that again, because some people might not catch the broadcast again. But it proves a point to me. And mind you, I said Google and Facebook, but the ones now has over 1 billion people on their network.
Wow.
We're gonna have these. Because remember, most hackers they like to exploit things where there's a lot of people on specific websites. Facebook's one of them. Another thing, maybe Instagram. Even if that's more than over 3 to over 100 million people, yeah, you're gonna find some form of hacker trying to infiltrate your system. You know what I'm saying? And of course, that is obvious right there. Because first of all, anytime they want to ask you for download, that warning signs. But let me it's about the Internet Explorer. It's the back door and front door of all hackers, and for them to exploit. Use Internet Explorer. No form of what they call page control before. Google Firefox. So anytime you close your browser, it always keeps you
breaking up, Gary.
Oh, can you hear me good? Sound good? Oh, I'm not breaking up. Better?
Now you're a little better.
Okay, hold on, let me just 1 second. I want to be clear. Tell me if I break up. Like I said before, Internet Explorer is the back door and front door, I like to call, of hackers, because that the internet doesn't give you no links to what you recently done or any sites you visit. You hear me? Chrome, Firefox gives you those links and other things that show your activity, especially Google Chrome. That's why those are better search engines to use. And I'm always telling people that a lot of people that's in any field, they might miss what they might tell you, but for the protection of the consumer is what advocate that they use this as their search engine from now on, anything permanent. Because when Google was established and Fox was established, this was the purpose of it, because they noticed with Internet Explorer, when hacking didn't come to as direction as come to now over the last 20 years since Internet in existence, that it made it easy for hackers to go in your system and put like viruses on shit. But because of Google Chrome, it keeps a monitoring of what you're doing. So when you exit a browser, you know what activities you were, so you could backtrack some of your visit. You understand me?
Yes.
It's the best to know what you've been visiting.
I get it.
Download. So that's why I advocate you to use those type of search engines moving forward if you're going to use the internet. I'm going to tell you a story. I came across a man that was okay. Okay. Do I sound better?
Yes.
Sound better?
Yes.
I came across an IT man that was helping a lady in regards to putting her, I guess, Windows operating system back on her computer, because the one she downloaded corrupted her whole computer. And that was Windows 10. At the time when it was so popular with people. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
If you don't understand, Windows 10, when they ask you to download Windows 10, its intentions was to mess up your system, depending on whoever downloaded it, and they had no problem. Most people that did it, their system and data was damaged and pretty much lost, because depending on what operating system you are using, it's not really equipped to download any new type of software. You know what I'm saying, like that. Because now let's say you convert to Windows 10. Now, if something happened, you can't revert back to the old Windows, because it's going to make your PC run slower. You understand me?
Yeah.
I came across this a year ago when Windows 10 was about to be available for everybody. A person told me this. I sit there, took note and listened, and lo and behold, I hear a lot of complaints about Windows 10 at the time when people download it. You know what I'm saying? Now, if somebody did it and successfully downloaded and had no problem, you're good. But majority of people that had a Windows 8 computer, operating system, they did that, I know for a fact their computers got crashed and corrupted to the point where they had to go and invest in a new computer. And Peter asked why this happened. I'd say why it's happened because it's a business. It's cost. You know what I'm saying? If that's new operating system in it, obviously, whatever operating system you're using is going to be corrupted and damaged because you're not supposed to download no new operating system unless it's like Linux. You're safe. But anything regards like Windows and stuff, you be cautious. Because at the end of the day, this is a business that makes money. Because technology is always ever changing. So when your computer crashes, it's not like you're going to spend the money to get it fixed. You're going to go and invest and buy a computer, most likely. You know, depending how much money you spend on a computer. You understand me? So that's what happened. So what this man was trying to do, he was trying to call some people to get the program and the product key to put back her Windows operating system. I think it was 7 operating system back in her computer. And the people that the guy was talking to was some cats in India. So this is a game that these fucking Indians do. They sit there try to tell him and the lady say you're going to have to buy a product key. We need your social security, your credit card number, all this. Not social security, but your credit card information, all that shit. He said we was like give it to him. He said you gotta give and give us a product key because what has happened is that what was done that corrupted the system. You're entitled to get a product key because she already spent the money on it. You understand me? With these people that had the product key and the operating system, the download, they were giving this man that's an IT professional a hard time to get the product key and the built-in C to program it back on her computer. So this is what these dudes like to do. Once they can't get their way and get your information, and they said they're going to agree on certain things, this is what it is. Listen good, Gigi. These motherfuckers hang up the fucking phone. After the man download their service so they could look into the system on her computer. Hold on a second. I got a message. Never mind. No, it's ignoring. Yeah. So you know what that man told me? And I sit there and watch him. He sit there and show me a trick and show everybody. You know what he did? He sit there and remove the timing and other things in the settings on our computer.
Well, you mean the timestamp?
No, there's some in your if you have Windows 8 or 9, 10, depending on what operating system you have, there's a certain thing on your settings and properties where you can sit there and adjust the time how long a person can view your computer. I forgot what it was again because it's hard to give it details.
I see.
And the purpose why he did this, because these motherfuckers, he downloaded, I guess, a software so they could look to the computer to give her the download from stream. They can get access to her computer anytime they deem worthy and look and monitor her computer with her knowledge. So what he did, he cut it down to a minute. And after he did that, he removed the download that they asked him to download to get the software. I'm only telling black people this. A lot of people in India and Asia, depending on what you do it, they're fucking crooks. And they're the ones that are very malicious in stealing information and money out of people. Because let's say you provide a service and you didn't get what you want. What the hell doesn't make sense? You want my information in regards to credit cards before proceeding. Anything. Yeah. Number one, that's strike right there. I'm saying, and obviously, once you don't comply to them and they say they're going to fix the problem now, they hang up automatically and cut off the little stream that they had on the net. So it said the purpose of them is they try and get finance by getting your information, your data. You know what I'm saying? And they're not going to provide, I know fact they're going to provide a service because they said they were going to do something, they were going to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because first of all, if I give you my information, and let's say you give me the Windows 10 operating system, right? You got access to the money, my bank account, Social Security, all that shit. Just for one fucking operating systems that really, truly, I should not be paying for. You understand me? But this is a game these people play on our people. So I want people to be very cautious when you deal with anybody that sounds foreign. Be careful. You know what I'm saying? Just like that lady that trying to play, that's one example, right? That these motherfuckers give themselves away. You know what I'm saying? That's one strike. And there's many more because our people don't understand the dangers of types of hackers. You know what I'm saying? That they're out here now, and regardless of if people got money or not, GG, it depends on what type of information they want, you know? The video that I played earlier goes where a white man showed another white man the potential things he could do to him just by him clicking on the wrong browser. You know what I'm saying? He could get his credit card, his social security, his medical records, all that stuff, and use to his advantage and destroy his life, make him homeless, if he chooses to. You hear me? So people got to be wise up, be intelligent, you know what I'm saying? And don't fall for the traps. Let me check the board again. Okay, no one raised their hand. So, you know, this is the reason, the premise of going into it, you know, just to bring clarity and understanding, you know, because we could sit there, think we know something, but we don't really know enough. So this is just to muddy or get our feet wet in the world of these hackers, you know. And to think like one is always important because if you can think like one, you know how to avoid it, you know. So at times, if we're going to continue using this computer, you know, we got to at least know the dangers and the possibilities of escapes, you know, to these type of people, you know what I'm saying, especially people overseas. Overseas, I think the ones overseas are more dangerous than the ones in here in the country, you know, because they could do their criminality without getting much prosecuted, depending if you really act now, you know. I mean, one time I noticed even in the Caribbean, a lot of people that scamming a lot of Europeans out of their money because they don't know, you know. These people that's out of this country do more harm in this country because a lot of people feel they can't touch them because they're not in the soil. But, you know, we got to be disintelligent, that's all. Let me give the call number one more time. The call number is 515-605-9783. 515-605-9783. Press 1 if you have a question. Now, anything else, Gigi? You there, Gigi?
I'm good. Very interesting.
Okay. What else I might say? Give me a second. Antivirus, anti-spyware. And what other tricks I could say? Internet Explorer, stay away from. Constant updates would be good. Check. And I already gave the warning signs. If you know your computer might be in a virus threat or a worm attack, you know, you might notice things go slow, constant pop-ups, emails, all that stuff. That's another thing people have to watch out for. And, yeah, I think I answered most everything. Let me flip. And I think I gave some solutions. C-Clear is a good one. Oh, and another thing. I hear people talking about, say, a lot of people invest in a Mac because it's better in protection. Well, I will say I disagree on that, and let me say why. Now, this is a tricky one. You may have read in a countless comparison of the numerous blogs that Macintosh operating systems cure ones out there, especially when pitting against the vast, more popular Windows operating system. But here's the very popularity of Windows works against it. Don't get it well. Don't get me well. Here is the thing. Very few hackers target Macintosh systems because of the fact that a large majority of people do not use it. Let me repeat that again.
Okay.
Very few hackers target Macintosh systems because of the fact that a large majority of people do not use it. They take advantage of this and switch to Macintosh operating systems. And do not forget the fact that there is no operating system in the world, I repeat, no operating system in the world that can't be completely hack-proof. So because you got Macintosh, you're not going to get attacked by these same so-called white, gray, and black hackers. They don't fuck with Mac because a lot of people don't invest and have money for a goddamn Mac. The only thing black people will invest money to is a phone, iPhone. They will never invest too much on a computer. I know because I don't got a Macintosh computer. A Macintosh costs $1,300. Who got $1,300 for a goddamn computer? It would make sense I spend something that's under $1,000, like $700 at most. I'm not gonna invest in no 13, 12. Don't get me wrong. Mac is a good operating system. Everybody should learn every operating system out there in the world. They should not be just solely based on Windows. They should know how to use Linux and Mac. You know what I'm saying? I advocate that. For the sake of conversation, a lot of people don't buy Mac products, Mac computers, because it's still expensive. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that they're making money is through their products. And I think the phone, out of all things, is probably the thing that they make the most money if we do comparison about price, you know? If we really look into it. Because how many people we know in the world that's black got an iPhone? A good number of them. So I asked them how many of them got a Windows, what do you call a Macintosh computer? Very little. Very, I know. So we spend money, but we don't spend that much money.
Okay.
Real talk. I have a caller. I'm gonna open this line now.
Okie dokie.
We're on the stand line, Gigi. 314. Your line's open. Who's this?
Hey, what's going on, man?
How you doing? What's going on?
What are you talking about? $1,300 is no money today.
Hey, Bianchi. Hello.
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 You know how much I paid for my first laptop?
Wait. Before you tell the price, wait. Before you pay the laptop, what year you bought that laptop?
Well, it was probably in the early 90s.
Right.
Now, Bianchi, before you go in, we're in the 2017 now. Have you bought? Was it like a desktop or a laptop?
It was a laptop.
Okay.
It was a laptop.
So you paid.
I used it for
$1,500, right?
payroll. I think it cost $4,500.
Okay. Now, what brand was it?
I don't even remember.
Oh, come on.
It wasn't. It wasn't
Dell, right?
a Samsung then because there wasn't. They didn't have any laptops at that time. There was no Dell.
Okay.
But I don't remember what the heck the name of it was.
1990. Yeah, I don't think Dell didn't come out to like 95. I might be wrong.
I don't know.
If anybody know, if they know when Dell came out. All right, go on.
Yeah. But as far as hacking it, and I never did like Apple products myself. I always liked the IBM base, which of course went into be what it is now. But you know what? This whole hoopla about hacking and hacking to affect the election is nothing but a bunch of bullcrap, man. If somebody like Julian Assange and WikiLeaks put information to the public to let them know how mischievous some of these politicians and heads of agencies have been behaving,
right,
then I think it was a good thing. Because ultimately the public is the one who's going to catch the blunt of that type of activity. And the U.S. has been engaging in that type of behavior forever and a day.
Right.
You know, and recently, look at what they've done to Angela Merkel, the president of Germany, hacking into her telephone conversations. And to say that Putin affected the election, well, people had information in order to make better choices. They always probably was suspicious, but now.
Pianchi,
yeah.
did you catch the early part of this show? I was asking.
No, I just got in, man. It's 4 degrees here. It's cold as hell. I'm taking my butt back to Africa as soon as I can.
So, listened briefly in the show, it's not really talked about even with the Putin situation, with the election, with the hacking situation. You know, and mind you, the U.S. does more hacking than anything else besides we hear from other nations. You know that, right?
They do straight out meddling.
Yeah, but they still hack nonetheless. So when people complain about other nations doing, either if it's true or not, I mean, people are looking at, we've been doing a lot of shit that people don't really pay attention to. So if any other nation starts to engage in the same cyber warfare, it's not surprised, but should be expected. People just live in a box world, like the end of the world that someone got hacked from another country that did this. And I think it's stupid.
Well, I tell you what, you don't have to really do any hacking. As cold as it is, you can see the text floating through the air. Froze. Read all you want.
I mean, cold won't kill much people, man. It might bother us, but it ain't gonna kill us, I done for worse still, man. But if it's cold down there, I'm not sure if it's like less than 20 degrees down there. I probably could hear you, but it is what it is. But
cold is very beneficial because it does kind of get rid of some things that's in the ecosystem that can be harmful.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Especially people that's got lice on them. Don't take a bath.
What?
Wow. That's crazy. Let me open another mic. Somebody raise their hand. 864. Your line's open. May I ask who's calling?
Hey, what's going on, G? This Equanese.
Hey.
What's up?
How you doing, Shabazz?
Hey, Equanese, what's going on, man?
Not much. What's going on with y'all? What's the hot topic?
Ain't nothing hot around here. It's cold as hell.
It's called dot hacking, and watch for the signs for exploitation. So for attacks and all that stuff, and ways to protect yourself. That is the discussion for tonight.
Hey, I wanna make this comment. I don't know if everybody been paying attention, but the Umar Johnson and Sarah Susan case, or that instance, had actually made it to Jet magazine. What? And so we're talking about even a lot of stuff. I don't even think if the Black Power Awards actually made it to the to things of that nature like the Jet mag, but I do know that issue. That made it. So, that was something kind of funny to me. It's like, all the hard work that we do to kind of, combat the crazy shit that goes on. A lot of times that's, even by magazines that are quote unquote black, then it's not acknowledged. But as soon as like how black people are with the World Star Hip Hop thing,
right.
Everybody don't mind posting up something, everybody fighting or doing some crazy shit. So, like I said, they kind of even lets me know those people that are on the well-to-do list of black people here in America, they still gravitate to the same things. The controversy and things of that nature, just as we do, on the quote unquote lower level in the hood. That shit is done on in the middle class and probably upper class black America. I was so this lady one time, this black lady, they say you can take the nigga out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the nigga. And that's just something that was said around my way. So, like I said, just throwing it out as a tidbit to think about. When we're talking about what's working, how it's working, and what's working against us. And like I said, to say that the conscious community doesn't really even have, a lot of people don't have much knowledge about the conscious community, about the good things, about the pros in the community. And it's like the first taste that they get in the mouth is like, oh yeah, Hotep nigga is somebody that, argue, or, they looking at Umar and SETI as being, fruits of what the conscious, and that's not true. So, like I said, that just reminds me of integrity and how we're handling it with integrity, whether it be utilizing the computer or, inside business or even having a conversation. That we're always going to exercise some level of integrity and the importance of doing so.
Absolutely.
It's very interesting. And mind you, Jet was there. I think one time it was run by black people, but now they sold it to some probably Jewish for some time now. And I think they stopped
Johnson Publishing, but I don't know if they still own it anymore.
No, I doubt they own it anymore. I heard that they sold it still. One time it was at one point, but they sold it because financial reasons. But I don't think they print it out as paper no more. I think it's now internet now, like blog type Jet magazine now, because they don't really print out booklets no more. They stopped doing that. I think was it 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I forgot what year they stopped, but yeah. But for them to really post that type of nonsense, it tells you something, about direction where things are going. And really, Omar shoots himself in the foot with this. You know what I'm saying? For him to do that to a cokehead, person like SETI, I mean, that's a bad look. At the end of the day, and he knows this. That's why when he tried to apologize and tried to demonize who that keep using that, he really fucked himself. Like in recent broadcasts, Tower Day broadcasts, I talked about this. That said, at the end of the day, only you yourself has to blame. No one else but you. You know what you if you're that most prominent speaker or that known in the light of the community, what they call conscious community or wherever you reside, by putting yourself out there for a person like this, which everybody should know already that this man is not about shit, to the point where in the black media, and one guy named I think named Blacksmith said that him and Farrell was dealing with a lecture one time. I don't know if it's in L.A. or Louisiana, but this same motherfucker they keep talking about SETI. He incited a little small riot in this little lecture he did, and when the police came, this man stepped back behind the crowd.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? This is what a man said that he heard, and I'm not sure he witnessed, but this is what he heard from dudes that had him when they called him in to do their little lectures in their city, in their town, their area. This is what happened. So it tells you right there, say, he already tells you say he's not about shit or anything like that. He just sit there, want to preach misinformation to our people and shit on the scholars and some of his own people. He might not shit on Dr. Ben, but it's worse enough. But this is where it comes down to. So, so Omar Johnson, hold on, let me finish. Omar Johnson should never waste this time. See, he kind of fucked himself because you don't got the money to establish this so-called school that you established. But by putting yourself out there, it makes you now think twice, say, is this the person we should probably consider investing in? That's up to the black community if they want to invest in or not. But what are you about to say, Pianki?
Can no one show me anything that Student SETI has said that's misleading people? Okay. What he's saying is the truth. I dare anybody to show me. Because I said before, at this present time in history, he's probably one of the most legitimate persons to talk on the subject matter of discussion. People who have read the books, Sarah Student SETI has walked through the books. There's a lot of difference.
Okay.
I know personally.
Since you mentioned him, you familiar with Ojiafu? Pianki? Ojiafu?
No, I'm not familiar with. What is that? Is that a name, a food, or what?
Well, they're books on the same these guys been talking about, but go even further and show the things that they don't talk about. You know what I'm saying? His name is Akan. If you don't know him, I'll inbox his information. You look it up still when you have time still.
But people talking about the topics that they talk about is no different than when people used to gather around and talk about the Negro Leagues and the baseball games that they used to play. When they used to talk about the early Harlem Globetrotters, And they used to talk, and they still do talk about boxers and try to compare Jack Johnson to Joe Louis, or Jack Johnson against Muhammad Ali and Sonny Liston. So they're talking about the topics that they talk about, debate the topics that they talk about, argue. Is no different than what people have been doing forever. You know, back during the Harlem Renaissance period, you had blacks that would talk about issues as they applied to African Americans. Used to stand on the street corners and stand on step ladders, pay people a nickel, a dime to listen to them. Hubert Harrison was one of them. They called him the Black Socrates. Then you had quite a few of them coming on down through the late 1800s. They used to do the same thing. Look at David Walker. David Walker ran a business cleaning clothes, and his appeal letter, he disseminated that in the pockets of the pants that he cleaned. People come get their pants and get home and look in the pocket. There David Walker's appeal was. So no, you also in the late 1920s, blacks had radio stations. They had talk radio stations. The Negro Hour was one of them.
Wow. Where
they would discuss the concerns of the day, the same way you discuss police brutality, the same way that you discuss quote-unquote racism. Blacks was doing that on the radio back in the 1920s.
Yeah. Well, one thing is to throw out information, but in regards to information, it's always questionable. But nowadays a lot of people don't really go back and research and other stuff. They sit there and just listen to it like a pulpit, like a sermon. That's how I see it. When I ask people the real permanent questions, they really can't really give a proper answer or anything that if they really learn anything, because laziness at the end. Even me at times, I one time participated in these same little stupid lectures. And there's only one lecture I participated. So and that was back, was it 8-9 years ago? And after that, you know what I'm saying, it made me want to go look up more. But really, I didn't really make the initiative till now, like probably 2-3 years later. But the point is this: a lot of people go in there to these lectures, it's for rooting on. Like it's like watching sports again. Who's going to that and root on it? They're not really concerned about the information. They just want to see how ratchet it will become. And it became now this at the stage now. Where anybody in there
I ain't gonna say
Well, let me ask Bianchi a question. What's up, Bianchi, Gigi, and Shabazz? Let me ask you a question, man. You said Sarah Sutin said he's on point and all that kind of stuff, right? Now, at one point in time when he was preaching, well, I guess I can't say preaching, but teaching whatever about ancient Egypt, he didn't have a problem with the Meta Netor. And actually, he was telling people what the Meta Netor said and all this kind of stuff, and there's videos of him out there doing that. Now that he's ran up with young Pharaoh, now he's saying that Meta Netor has not been deciphered or translated. So which side of that do you think? Do you take? Do you say that the Meta Netor it has been decoded, or do you say it ain't been decoded?
People use a periodical, not a periodical, a reference book that was produced by a man by the name of Garland, and they use that to read what they believe is the decipherment of the Meta Netor. Now, myself, I say it has not been deciphered. Because
if you say that... Okay, go ahead.
Because they're basing it on ancient Greek. Well, the Meta Netor iconic figures was written thousands of years before there ever was a Greek that came into the Kemet. And those figures are pictographs. Like if you driving your Uber and you come to a corner and there's an octagon sign, red background, white letters that says STOP, well, your reaction is going to be you're going to stop. Well, who knows that if that same iconic figure existed 15,000 years ago, would it derive the same results?
All right. Well, you saying that it has not been translated or that it has not been deciphered. Now, wouldn't that go against your name, T.R.S. Seti's name? Wouldn't it go against the hieroglyphs? We would actually not know anything of any of the ancient knowledge that you guys come on here and talk about all the time, because y'all telling the stories of these ancient gods and these myths, and part of those stories y'all tell are translated from these glyphs. So that would mean that everybody that's talking about ancient Egypt now have been lying to this point, or don't know what they're talking about if you said it has not been translated.
Well, some people say it has been translated. I say it has not been translated, especially into its entirely. Now, some of these names come out around the 25th, 26th dynasty, when ancient Greeks were at the helm at that time. And you also had some of the information had been passed down to the Gnostics, who would have known. Well, as far as all of, before the Meta Neter, there was a coffin text. And before the coffin text, I really don't know what it was.
Right.
So it's up
for
for grabs.
Some
think it has. A lot think that it has not.
Okay, right, but that argument has just came up here recently. Before young Pharaoh came on the scene, this 23-year-old that's going to shook up the damn conscious community, before he came on the scene, everybody was settled with the information that was coming out of Egypt. And when he picked this fight with the Sarnetta TV and the Amun-Ra squad, that was one of the things that he started. Now, he get most of his information from white fucking people, man. I'm telling you. He listened to Coast to Coast AM. He listened to Michael Cremo. And he talk about that alien shit and all that kind of stuff. So with this young guy coming on the scene and making this big announcement that the Meta Neter has not been translated, next thing you know, it's going to shook up the conscious community, even in what I hear from you now. And everybody's going with this whole saying now that the Meta Neter has not been translated. But your name is Pianki, his name is T.R.S. Seti, and young Pharaoh calls himself a Pharaoh. So if it ain't been translated, what are we doing in the conscious community? You get what I'm saying?
Well,
good
question. My namesake name was P.A., P-I-Y-E, as it was spelled. It wasn't spelled the way I spelled my name, nor the way my name was given to me, the way it's on my birth certificate. So
Pianki, what's your original name?
Look, this is what I just put out there, just for food for thought. I'm not going to debate this whole issue. So it look like Joshua's on the line, man. Maybe he can address it.
That's a good point you put out there.
Wait. Before my mic is Mike, 1 second. Pianki, what is your actual name? Not your last name, but your first name. If you have, you go by.
That is my name. That's it.
You mean Piana, not Pianki?
It's Pianki, P-I-A-N-K-I.
So that's your actual name. That's in your birth certificate. That's your birth name. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm opening this line, 626. Your line is open. Who is this? Hello? Your line is open, 626.
Yeshua.
Okay. What's going on, man?
Hey,
what's that?
How you doing? All right. Hey. No, I was kind of I did turn it on, really. I was just, I was noticing they were talking about the again the Meta Neter, which something that young girls don't know what the hell you're talking about. And I wish you guys would change their goddamn name. He calls himself Young Pharaoh, but he doesn't respect the scholars. So change his damn name. So that's what needs to happen. All of them change their goddamn name because none of them respect the scholars. So they need to change their name. But my point is that when you say that the Meta Neter haven't or was deciphered, some of it has been deciphered. Some of it has. I mean, one of the best books that we have, as far as I was concerned, was the Book of the Dead by Bud. When he deciphered some things, but he also let you know in the book that some things he deciphered was off. And that was the good thing about him. He did tell you some of the stuff could be off. because it didn't have vowels and all these types of things. This language didn't have full vowels. And some people look at the term and period. But each different term and period, this language or this middle letter, it changes.
Well, Yasha, let me pause you for a second, man. Would it be safe for you to say that it's been partially translated? Is that what you're getting at?
Now that's the truth. It has been partially translated.
Yes, it has.
Okay, well that would be a better argument for these guys to have instead of it has not been translated. You know what I mean? Because the way you just explained that made sense to me.
Let me pause you for a minute too, Joshua. The Meta Nature has over 250 characters. Now, on the Rosetta Stone, that little bit that was written in Meta Nature and below was written in ancient Greek, and basically what they done was transliterated. In other words, they went, if you was on the first line, they went straight up above a particular word that they could read in ancient Greek and went to the first line in the Meta Nature writing. And they applied that Greek meaning to that first line in that letter, in that column. And it just kept doing. But all 250 characters was not present on the Rosetta Stone. So you could more accurately say that part of it has been translated. But have all of it? I still say no.
Yes, and like I said, depending, and this was my student was telling me about a week ago when I was asking him about the Meta Nature. And he said, and no one knows how it sounded. So when you talk, we talk now that we go to the English, but we don't know, how, if you look at English in its proper form, it sounds different from what we're saying. It sounds totally different from what we're saying. If you look at Spanish or Latin in its proper form, it sounds different from the Spanish you see Latino speaking. It sounds totally different. So I'm saying it depends on, it also has a lot to do on how it sounds. I think the closest people that come close to it, like you said, T.R.S, when he was talking, I think that you have to go down to the south of the Sudan and see and ask them, what is their language, and get them to say their vowels. Because I think this is how you become, in a sense, a little close. And when I say a little close, I mean just a little close on how this language probably was sounding. You see, and I think that's how you think from there. But Tyler, he was doing the main thing. They call themselves young Pharaoh and all this stuff like that. Change their damn name if you do not have your heart totally into understanding the science of Semitic knowledge. Change your goddamn name and stop playing with this thing. Change your name. Stop playing. Stop trying to be deep. Talk about UFOs and all that shit. That shit, dumb stuff. That's all I got to say.
Joshua, do you know what's the name of the topic of tonight's show?
Some of it I know. I heard you in the beginning. I turned it off. You were talking about the computer that was invented, the internet, etc., and stuff like that. So I did hear some of that.
At what time you tuned in?
So if I messed everything up a little bit.
No, you didn't.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's interesting.
Go ahead, next person.
It's interesting. A lot of people chime in, but once you hear something about ancient Kemetic and all this, I really don't know it all. I haven't really invested too much time, and maybe I should. I do get a chance, but off.
Hey, I have.
Who's that?
Them radio programs, by the way, was in the 1940s. I'd say the 20s, so I was off a little bit.
Oh, speaking of that, I mean, since you brought Johnson made a good point about the radio, but one of the greatest pioneers in radio was a gentleman by the name of Georgie Woods, and he had a black-owned radio station back in the late 60s called WDAS, and it was a hit. If it wasn't for WDAS, a lot of us wouldn't even have the knowledge of music the way we do, especially when it comes to, at that time, they was calling it soul music. And a lot of us wouldn't even have the knowledge of music. I came up, fortunately, with WDAS, I came up with a lot of music, so I was able to understand and appreciate real music opposed to what we hear today. Helping, so, and then on top of that, as far as on the conscious level, what we consider to be conscious, they had a Sunday, they talked about a host of things to better the black community at that time, etc. And they came up in a time where it was the thicker stuff was going on, Panther Party, etc., and all those different things. But Georgie Wood was a pioneer. You can look him up, and I'm shocked that they haven't even did a movie about him. He was sort of like a pioneer and incorporating black music and getting everybody to understand about black music. So his name is Georgie Wood, WDAS FM radio on the East Coast, Philadelphia, Delaware, I think Jersey, parts of Jersey, and New York City. So yeah, so he's talking about a black a radio, and then he got the other personalities who also came forward. Like he got even in personality part, the so-called poet. Like there was one in the 1940s and 50s named Jocko, and I, if y'all remember in the 70s, there was an older man that came out with a song, and one of the phrases of the song was Jocko, will you be? I've been around the corner back. And that dude was like when he wrote that, he was like in the 60s. He was like in the 60s when he wrote that. So he was around in the beginning before this thing called rap music even came to the scene. That they was already doing these things on the radio. Black personalities, disc jockeys were already doing this stuff on the radio before the rappers started doing this stuff. So, you know, if you talk about black radio and the history of black radio, a lot of stuff is old stuff that we're talking about. And if he actually said they were talking about this stuff a long time ago, you know, so that's what I got to say about that.
Hey, yeah, and that's why I want to, even as we discussed the conscious community, and even while you were talking, Joshua, that kind of took me back to Gil Noble. And I think the name of the show was Tell It Like It Is. And just showing the importance of or the need to have platforms like that. You know what I'm saying? Just as, you know, with us having ESPN, people have ESPN, they tune in to ESPN to get that worldview, to get that sports worldview. And I think we need to have more accountable platforms where we can get that worldview. And I think that's what we were talking about the other day. I think we're still in the formulation of what exactly our worldview should be or what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like if you're still in the formulation of what the football sport is or still in the formulation of baseball, you wouldn't even be able to offer them to a platform of honest recognition because they're still basically unmade, or they're still, you know, and even with the conscious community, you know, there is no conscious community. It's in shambles. You have to have things that are established, and even with Dr. Khalid Muhammad, with Malcolm X, with Martin Luther King, with all the greats that have come, you would think that we would have made it somewhere further here in 2016, but I think even when Dr. Umar is arguing with SETI and they are supposed to be scholars offering scholarship, it kind of shows us the level that we, you know, how far we have come to make it where we are at. And, you know, again, the thing that we have to look at that is going to be very important is self-discipline, is knowing how to discipline ourselves through the definitions of African family, because that's what we're going to have to know how to execute that. We have tried to define ourselves under a lot of banners. None of those have worked for us here in 2016. You know, a lot of these institutions, they only steal, rape, and, you know, kill off our true identity. So these types of platforms are needed with an integral approach, which even now we don't have many. Even on Blog Talk Radio, even with the YouTube channels, or cause we're lacking accountability. And like I say, even with the Black Power Awards, that does allow people to encourage people, not only the Black Power Awards, but you know that being one thing. But I think with having things like this, it does encourage people to move forward with integrity because somebody is watching you. You know what I'm saying? Somebody, and that's how communities should be. You know, we should be like, well, hey, we're watching you. We're making sure that you are, just like even in the Tommy Sotomayor case. Hey, we should have, a lot of these fools shouldn't even be popping up because we should have a council of people that are hey, we're watching you, and we'll get your, just like how the NAACP was. When they find out somebody was being racist, it was like, oh, we're watching you, and we got some people that's going to pull your card if you don't act the way that's accordingly, or we going to boycott, or we going to do ... So I think if these things are not, the platforms are not standing up for us in an integral fashion, while we, can have the opportunity to speak on it, we should,
Yeah. Damn, that was about I got, let me check on, probably, let me see what time it is. It's like 4 minutes, and this ain't going to jump to overtime. People want to call in, last chance for overtime. 4 minutes to go overtime. Number call in, 515-605, 515-605-9783. Press 1 if you have a question. The title is Hacking, and watch the signals or signs for exploitation. Let me see. Did I go over everything? Yeah, I go everything. So usually, and Jay of NYC is listening. Press 1 because Jay, you might open this conference call. I will not be opening it right now. After this broadcast comes out, be doing something. So if you're listening, Jay, press 1 now. If not, you know the drill. Once this show ends, you might have to open the conference call. And I know Sarge's not listening to tonight's show because, I think he was in the chat room. You check if he's still in the chat room. Say he was. Let's check. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. He ain't calling in, so he stays away from my show. Because he has nothing really good to say anyway.
Hey, Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also want to say something about, we talk about radio and exploitation, etc. You got those men. Those men of that time. They were really fighting a very good battle. We talk about those guys that came before even Georgie Woods. He was just the icing on the cake, and he just let he forced a lot of radios and people. He forced a lot of people to start having black entertainment on TV, etc. He forced a lot of that stuff, especially at that particular time. It was almost kind of like Soul Train forcing certain things about Soul Train. He forced a lot of people to do a lot of things too. But when you get into personality, even P.D. Green was a personality on the radio. As they did a movie about P.D. Green, and I remember as a little boy, P.D. Green would come on as a little boy, and my mother would tell me about P.D. Green. And P.D. Green was a very interesting guy in Washington, D.C. I think they made the movie was called Say It Loud or something like that. I think that was the name of the movie. Say It Loud, I Can Talk or something like that. But he was just a hell of a talker.
Talk to me or something like that.
Yeah. He had the gift of gab, and he could really talk. And he was instrumental in putting down a rebellion, and he was kind of instrumental in trying to hold in that rebellion where it didn't get out of hand. But there are a lot of different personalities, including Abu Jamal was a personality on the radio at WDAS. He used to talk about the news. He would come with the news before they locked him up. Before they say he shot that police officer, he was on WDAS and he was the news guy. He carried the news. He's a journalist, and that's what he did. So there's a lot of different other personalities when it comes to trying not to be exploited. And they had good. The news on WDAS was very dignified. We had dignified news. WDAS was a dignified station. That they didn't do it wasn't the stuff that you see now on radio. It was very dignified, and so that's what I want to say about that too, Gary.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is what I'm gonna do. Since no one else has their hands raised up, I'm gonna do a short recap. And I might give some books for reading for people to look into more about hacking, and for the terms they could present to their kids or teenagers to look into. Let's see. Let me check. Anti-spyware, antivirus, passwords.
security guidelines for office organizations.
Yeah, somebody about to say something? Go ahead.
No, never mind.
All right.
Is this Ottawa, man? This is Ottawa. Are you on the line? This is Ottawa.
I love when she's on the line.
I thought she was on the line with me, but I guess she's not.
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
Salute to all you elders. You know, that's one thing we don't do, and I'm seeing is part of our problem in our community that we don't salute our elders. We got too many folks that want to have a damn big head, and they're too disrespectful to, you know, those elders that came before them. Because if it were not for the elders, those older people, and not all people are elders.
Right.
You know, you got some people that are just olders, because you got people that are, you know, they'll tell you about all kind of ways and what to do as far as it relates to keeping the white man alive, rather than yourself. So, you know, an elder is somebody that's going to teach you as an African, as a black person, to help sustain your life by doing green things that are going to be productive to your quality of nature.
Right.
So, and with being African, man, African goes real deep. You know, it goes, you know, the Bible, you know, brings white people, I guess their people in existence like 2,000 years ago, but when somebody asks how old is black, it said you would have to ask how old is fire, how old is air, because, you know, the darkness, the blackness has been here since forever. So, you know, just going back in, tapping into our higher nature, because we do see what the hell can happen when we act with our lower nature. But I don't think we have gotten a chance to see what we can do when we, you know, collectively act on our higher nature and the stuff that we can't. And that's why I'm always on Kemet a lot, because it's like, man, we can still go there today and see the greatness of our ancestors from like 5,000 years ago. Like, man, that right there says a lot. Even if you can't build it, I'm not saying that you should build a pyramid, but in order, and before we go forward, we must have to reconcile, you know, yesterday and making that right, and actually admiring that in which our ancestors laid down. You know, not many of us lay that down, and like you're saying, just, you know, sitting at the feet of our ancestors, or those that have, you know, kept the wisdom alive. So salute to Sister Ottawa, salute to you, sis. You know, like I said, because I know with having this mental state of being right now, it takes a lot. I'm pretty sure you are, you know, a lot of people from the black, white side, ethnic, all types of paths of life, they try to discourage you from, you know, finding out who we are. But like I said, I encourage you all.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Let me go back, reach for guidelines. All right, the guidelines. This bracket.
Who's that, Big Will?
I had to break down.
Yeah. Hold on. Okay. Just for a second. I want to get this through. Basic security guidelines for tonight's broadcast that people could take and precautionary to what is said about hacking. Update your operating system. The simple truth is that all the different versions of events are best of the operating system has stumbled in hacking. Having said that, the simplest way to protect your system would be to keep updating your operating system in a weekly and monthly basis, or as when a new or improved version comes along. This dramatically brings down the risk of your system playing host in viruses. Update your software. Please understand that there is a reason why software developers bring out newer versions of their product. every once in a while. Besides providing better efficiency and conveniency, they also have better inbuilt security features. Therefore, it is highly imperative for you to make sure that your application browsers and programs all stay up to date. Antiviruses. The importance of having good and effective antivirus software in your system can never be streamed enough. This is more relevant when your system is always connected to the internet. There are many antivirus software packages available on the market with varying degrees of efficiency. They may be both free as well as paid, and we would always recommend you go for the later. And if you think that that just installing one of your systems is good enough, then you are mistaken. The antivirus software, like any other software, requires frequent updates for its definition to remain efficient. Anti-spyware software is so important as antiviruses for the very same reason. And here are a ton. You have a lot of options to choose from. So make more that you pick one that is rated high enough. Go for Macintosh. I said earlier about Macintosh can't be breaking. It can, but for the sake of conversation, because a lot of hackers know a lot of the users don't own a Macintosh computer, either laptop or desktop, besides cell phone, they're not going to really look into it much. But as more people invest their money in Mac, they will. But let's see. Now this is a tricky one. You may have read in countless comparisons of numerous blogs and Macintosh operating systems are the least secure ones out there, especially when pitched against the nasty or vastly more popular Windows operating system. But here's the very popular of Windows working against it. Don't get it. Well, here is the thing. Very few hackers target Macintosh system because of a large majority of people do not use it. Take advantage of this and switch to Macintosh operating systems. And do not forget the fact that there is no operating system in the world that can be completely hack-proof. And which I said before, which I agree, nothing is really hack-proof because these dudes counts hours. We watched earlier in the video, the guy said they get less hours of sleep, 3 hours of sleep. And the average sleep a human should really get, if they can, is 7 hours. Y'all do research on that. Avoid shady sites. Would you walk into a dark alley on the scheduled part of the street at night wearing expensive jewelry? You wouldn't. Similar to very adaptive websites that parade as repetitive ones. Also avoid visiting porn sites, gaming websites, and sites promising free music and movie downloads. Hackers frequently track those websites, and anything you view or download from these sites may contain malware that may harm your computer and compromise its security. I would say that's what they call it. I would say that's what they call Mandela Con. You know what I'm saying? Mandela Con. You hear that? So no use them porn sites. I'm joking. Not joking. Anyway, firewall. If there is more than one computer system operating under one network, it is highly advisable to install software that provides a secure firewall. Otherwise, make sure that the inbuilt firewall in your window is activated. This feature comes in all various of Windows starting from XP onto latest version. Spam. Never ever open mail that looks suspicious, especially the ones that have attachments. All mainstream emails, websites provide a certain amount of protection against such treacherous mail of straight away, moving them to the spam box when you receive them. However, there may be mail that get past the filter of your email servers, and that is when you have to exercise caution. Do not attempt to read such mail or download the comments or the contents. Okay. Backup options. Whether it's your home computer or the system at work, always create a backup of the data that stores in it. You may be having all sorts of important and confidential information, such as financial information, personal files, and work-related documents saved in your system. In that case, make sure that you transfer a copy of everything into an external source such as standalone hard disk or some other similar device or service. Remember, single potent malicious software may completely scramble your data and make it irrelevant. And merely having a backup option is not good enough. If you do not utilize it, perform a backup transfer as often as possible, at least once every 4 to 5 days. And mind you, I advise everybody, if they got flash drives or external hard drives that are, I guess, 2 terabytes now, that's you can get for a good price, it'd be wise to invest money in those and save as much data as possible, especially if you're doing work. Moving on. Passwords. We have kept the most important aspect to last. The significance of having a secure password can never be emphasized enough. Be it for your document, for emails, or even your secure server, a good enough password is the first and to last lines of defense against any external threats. There are some golden rules when picking a password. Do not make your bank account number, telephone number, or car registration number into your password. I mean, that's common sense, but, a lot of us don't think that. Similar, it is a big no. When it comes to a name of your family member, do not adopt any data such as birthdays or anniversaries as passwords. In short, when it comes to adopting a password, do not take predictable words or numerals or numbers. I think that's what I mean by it. As far as possible, make it a combination of jumbling alphabet and numbers that do not hear any importance to you on a personal or professional front. And a golden rule when it comes to password security is that you should never write down your password anywhere, be in your personal diary or at a back of the telephone index. The same goes for saving it in your cell phone. I agree with that. But for the sake of conversation, I know that people got passwords now that they log on to Facebook or their accounts. My advice, if you're going to write anything down, make sure you write it down and secure it somewhere where it'd be hard for anybody to get access to until you remember it good by heart. And even if you remember it good by heart, you still secure it somewhere anyway. Because nowadays, some of us, we tend to forget simple things unless we're not using it enough. So we're not constantly using our password constantly. The mind sometimes forget. Maybe easy or takes a while, depending on your brain function. And those are the guidelines in regards to protecting yourself from hackers. Tyler Thompson, are you there? I don't know if he dropped. He must have went to sleep. All right, hold on a second. Gigi, you there? Hello?
Yes, I am.
I found up his mic. Okay. And
you muted me, man. What's going on?
I'm sorry. I didn't think so. Okay. Good for you. Unmute yourself. So I hope everything was clear tonight to all the callers listening that listen in. Was it clear? Good? Yes? No?
Yes, good. Excellent.
Okay. All right. I know I'm going to ask any questions, but I think that's it for the question type. I think y'all get the picture. So I just want to get some feedback. But, people could check the archives. This is Talk with Weekends. Tune in for tomorrow's broadcast. I'm not sure who's coming in. They'll probably come with a good subject. And, Tom, I'm not sure if you're going to go to a conference after this show.
Nah, man. You know what I could do? I could open it up and just leave it like I do. That way y'all can get over there and talk. Look, guys, if y'all going to call over there, let me go ahead and give you the number. Yeah, because I try not to stay up all damn night, but I know people like to call in and run their mouths late at night for some reason. Y'all need to get y'all old behinds in the bed. But the number to call is 712-770-4160. That's 712-770-4160, and the access code is 915-411-pound. So if Gary hang up, I'll go ahead and open up the conference over there, And y'all need to call in now. I ain't want to be sitting up there listening to no damn dead air. Y'all need to call in and start talking. But go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, okay. I might call in the conference, but it's gonna be like in like 15, 20 minutes. This was a good broadcast. Something to learn, share with your loved ones, talk with your children, and tell them this, and try to get them in these little programs. I would say best advice: get some simple books, which I'm gonna share right now. One of the books that you can invest in, if people got a library still, if they free books or downloads. It's called Hacking the Art of Exploitation by John Erickson. This was released in 2008. One of the good books. It has a disc in it that shows the program, how to utilize the tools of how to use hacking, exploiting all stuff, and understand programming. Another good book would be some Jarvis books. And I advise you, do not buy the books that say what they call for dummies. Don't buy that. Buy the actual shit. Because I think the thing for dummies should be left for like dummy type shit, not for coding computer. No, it's too advanced. Right. It should not be one dummy. I mean, I went to, I noticed that, and I talked to one guy that works there, and he said certain things you can't do dumb, and I agree with him because with technology you gotta be firm. You gotta teach it from the ground up. You can't dummy down that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Gary, let me just say this right here, man. The For Dummies series is actually a good series, man. The For Dummies series teaches you a lot of stuff. So what are you saying? Just because it's got the For Dummies in the title that it's not a good book?
No, I'm saying anything in regards to what they call the people that write dummies, they just do it in regards to, making money and like express it in somewhat dummy down the version for regular people to consume. But I'd say like in technology, it's better you start from the ground up. Everything else is fine. You could invest in dummies, like, trust and anything that they write. But in regards to technology, it's better off if you can find one that deals with the subject, start from there. That's my advice. I mean, that's my opinion. I don't really care what anybody else think about. That's my opinion in regards to dummies. I don't own the dummies book, but if anybody's going to buy technology, it's better off you go research and buy, like, say if you get like C program or stuff, just buy the book. Like if it's, for example, I can't name one right now because it slipped my mind, but they have one that's for basics and start from there. I mean, don't try to get dummy down version because that's a money making thing. That's my opinion.
Right.
But that's it.
You know what too?
Yeah. Go ahead. What do you say?
No, I was going to say, and I agree. To that the dummy series is good to have, and that's something that is something that I need to give myself because I should be more technical savvy too when it comes to computers as well, and I'm not. And I know some things about computers, but not a whole lot because it was something that just never interested me, and maybe that was something in me while I was being lazy. But that's something that we all should have some savvy in now because that's where we're going. I mean, it's getting so bad from a technological point that you go into a grocery store now and they don't have cashiers. You walk up with your items, you go to that thing, you scan your own item, you walk out, you pay how you want to pay, and move on. So it's that technical is coming up where where it's either that we're going to be replaced and a bunch of robots doing stuff, or but still in all, you have to be technical savvy, and within the next 10 or 15 years from now, it's going to get a lot more technical, and as far as technology is concerned, it's going to be a whole lot more. So that's something that we should, it's a good topic, So, but it's something that we have to learn.
Yeah. All right.
And also learn too, Jerry, like you said, the downside of it, of hacking and all these things. Because I was hacked today in my bank account. It came on my bank account today, so they had to freeze my bank account up because someone with my account from it was a company called NYPE, and they went there and took money out. And I have no idea about this company, but the way they did it with applications, meaning that when the bank saw who they were or trying to trace them, they had the name, but they had all these applications underneath. And so the bank was trying to have to go through each application to even see what this was. So again, you got hackers who can do this stuff. They're able to get into hack your bank account, your computer, hack all your stuff, your medical files and all that stuff. So stuff is real, and it does happen a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So
all right,
yeah.
But okay. So let me read the books and close out. Hold on. 1 second. Gotta do this. Oh yeah, G broadcast. And you could go onto the other conference call to continue anything else if you choose to. All right, Gigi.
I'm sorry. What happened, sweetie?
So when the show ends, you could go to the conference call when the show ends if you choose to. All right.
Okay.
I might call in later. All right.
Okay.
All right. And the other books, in closing, Hacking the Art Exploitation by John Erickson, 2nd edition, came out in 2008. That's one book. The second book, C Plus, Player's Guide, 2nd edition, by R.B. Wintaker. And last, The Art of Memory Forensics by Wally. This book deals with detecting malware threats in Windows, Linux, and Mac memory. And actually, that's probably a lengthy book, but a good book to have in your library, including the other two. And they also got some books on JavaScript, too. But these are the basics, besides, computer coding and all that stuff. But invest in the books, share, try, have your children get into it, and, you'll be good. That's all I can say in regards to protecting and arming yourself with a sense of real knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So this is it for tonight. This is Talk Real Solutions. I am Gary. I will talk to you again soon. And, share this broadcast, both YouTube, which you can find T.R.S. Talk Real Solutions on YouTube, and the website, talkrealsolution.com, for all news and other media outlets of what's going on in today's world. And so until next time, black people, I love you. Good night now.
And this was another classic. Hack and watch the signs for exploitation. Comment, subscribe, and like the channel. And be on the lookout for other videos, previous videos from Chaos Rain channel.